The Last Days of Judas Iscariot, Act 1, Prologue.
Gonna read the Latin?
No.
Tom Kane, I have a feeling you took Latin in high school.
Incredulitatem meam.
Thank you.
Darkness, rain from nowhere. A woman emerges from her past.
No parent should have to bury a child. No mother should have to bury a son. Mothers are not meant to bury sons. It is not in the natural order of things. I buried my son in a potter's field, in a field of blood, in empty, acrid silence. There was no funeral. There were no mourners. His friends, all absent. His father, dead. His sisters refusing to attend. I discovered his body alone. I dug his grave alone. I placed him in a hole and covered him with dirt and rock alone. I was not able to finish burying him before sundown, and I'm not sure if it affected his faith. I begrudge God none of this. I do not curse him or bemoan my lot, and though my heart keeps beating only to keep breathing, I do not question why. I remember the morning my son was born as if it were yesterday. The moment the midwife placed him in my arms, I was infused with a love beyond all measure and understanding. I remember holding my son and looking over at my own mother and saying, now I understand why the sun comes up at day and the stars come out at night. I understand why rain falls gently. Now I understand, Mother. I love my son every day of his life, and I will love him ferociously long after I've stopped breathing. I'm a simple woman. I'm not bright. Sorry, you said wait a second?
No.
Okay. I'm not bright or learned. I do not read. I do not write. My opinions are not solicited. My voice is not important. On the day of my son's birth, I was infused with a love beyond all measure and understanding. The world tells me that God is in heaven and that my son is in hell. I tell the world the one true thing I know. If my son is in hell, then there is no heaven. Because if my son is in hell, there is no God.
Jesus carrying a bucket has crossed the woman. He kisses her cheek. She does not notice. They vanish.
Scene 1, a courtroom. Court is in session. A woman with wings, Gloria, rises.
Between heaven and hell, there is another place. This place, hope. Hope is located right over there, downtown Purgatory.
Next case.
Now, Purgatory, contrary to popular belief, has plumbing and bodegas, and they even got a movie theater, a little park that people can walk their dogs at. Hope. Well, it ain't got none of that, and it definitely don't smell good.
Next case. Bailiff.
I worked here in Hope for 2.5 years. That's how I got these wings. And I wouldn't trade nothing for these wings. I can fly with these wings. At night, I fly down to earth and I watch my littlest baby boy sleep. He's 7, and he's got a picture of me on his wall, right between Shaquille O'Neal and the Incredible Hulk. Then I go fly uptown to the window of my eldest baby girl's home, and I watch my grandchild, little Bit, sleep. Most nights, I can see my oldest baby girl, Tanya, with her feet in a pot of hot water, always studying books. And I'll stick around to see her man, Winston, come home late at night from work, always with a muffin or a hamburger for my baby girl. Winston's love for my baby girl is all over his face. I was wrong about him. I always thought he was shifty. When I got back to heaven, I tell my husband, Delane, all about it. Delane don't like to fly, but he likes to hear the stories. And he likes how I look when I come home from Earth, all windblown. Now, hope, it changes with times, but has stood always as God's gift to the last of his children. It is said that every civilization rearranges the cosmic furniture differently. In biblical times, hope was an oasis in the desert. In medieval times, a shack free of plague. Today, hope is no longer a place for contemplation. Litigation being the preferred new order of the day.
Where's Madame Bailiff?
Here, sir.
Then call the next damn case.
Yes, sir. God in the Kingdom of Heaven and Earth versus Thorsine the Implacable. Motion to appeal.
Denied. Next case.
God in the Kingdom of Heaven and Earth versus Henry Wayne Masters.
Nope.
God in the Kingdom of Heaven and Earth versus Benedict Arnold.
Oh, hell no.
God in the Kingdom of Heaven and Earth versus Judas Iscariot.
Judas Iscariot? Who brings this crap before me?
Your Honor, my name is Fabiana Aziza Cunningham.
Never heard of you.
I live in purgatory.
Well, you should have kept your legs closed. Motion denied. Next case.
Your Honor, I have a writ signed by St. Peter at the gates of heaven.
Next case.
But I have a writ.
She has a writ, sir.
Excuse me?
Just saying, the lady, she's got a writ, so, I mean...
Bailiff, let's set up a little signal between ourselves, okay?
Okay.
Good. Now, when I come on court dressed as Ethel Merman in a one-piece bathing suit, that'll be my signal to you that I want your opinion.
Yes, sir.
Next case.
But what about the writ, sir?
What's your name, bailiff?
Julius of Outer Mongolia.
Ah, you're on work release from purgatory, Julius, correct?
Yes, sir.
Want to get to heaven someday? Eat fried chicken, mashed potatoes, feel the sun on your face?
Very much, sir.
Then call the next damn case.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir.
Good. Have a lollipop.
Thank you, sir.
Next case.
But, like, the writ, sir.
Bailiff!
Yusuf Abir Aziz rises dramatically from his seat in the courthouse. And Yusuf El Fawumi says, Tyler?
Your Honor, if I may,
Who speaks before me?
it is I, Yusuf Akbar Aziz Al Nassar Gamel El Fayyam,
Who the hell are you?
an attorney, great sir, willing and able to prosecute this sham of a case and defend the gates of heaven and the kingdom of God against the big shenanigan of a so-called writ, great handsome sir. Look no further, Your Honor. Yusuf Akbar Aziz Al Nassar Gamalai Fiamne is a beacon for justice.
A beacon, eh?
May I approach you?
The bench, not me.
The bench, of course, yes. And it is a lovely bench, splendid and sturdy, like the great derriere that rests upon it. Your Honor, I received wind of this so-called writ several weeks ago. I have been preparing night and day to refute the allegations it contains.
Your Honor, let the record reflect I have no opposition to Mr. El Fayoumi's here.
Speak when spoken to.
Do not bait this great man, lady. He presided over the appeal of Attila the Hun, when you were nothing more than a cheap shot of whiskey on your great-great-grandfather's first unpaid bar tab.
Well said.
Forgive the outburst.
You got a license to practice, Mr. El Fajita?
A license? A license? Yes, absolutely. As submitted for your most scrupulously discerning approval, eminently great, sir.
El Fayumi crosses, fumbles, searching his pockets for a license.
Sir, his name's El Fayumi.
What?
You called him El Fajita.
Just give me my glasses.
You're wearing them, sir.
My other glasses!
Oh, here.
Most worshipful Lord and Master, very tiny problem. My license, I seem to have left it in my other suit. I could rush back to hell and retrieve it.
From hell, are you?
Temporarily detained. A problem with my papers.
You sure about that?
Quite sure, Your Grace. I attribute the mix-up to the Americanization of the afterlife. Completely understandable, in lieu of recent events.
You're damn right.
Yes, your eminence, as are you, great sir.
Cunningham, let me see this writ.
Here, Your Honor. You have great legs. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, you have great legs, Fabiana. Free for dinner, perhaps?
Cunningham, this writ is garbage. Next case.
Your Honor, my client.
Your client is Judas Iscariot. Your client sold out the Son of God, for Christ's sakes.
Your Honor, that has no bearing.
Cunningham, Judas Iscariot committed the one unforgivable sin. Everybody knows it.
The sin of despair.
And then he did the world a favor and hung himself.
From the olive branch, the coward.
Next case.
Your Honor, that writ you hold in your hand is signed by St. Peter.
Ha! I know Peter, and he's prone to error. Believe me, and he's rash.
Rash, absolutely. A little place called the Garden of Gethsemane. Ring a bell, Fabiana? When the authorities came to arrest Jesus after your client sold him out with a kiss, what did Peter do?
I know what he did.
Well, know it again. Peter took out his sword and started chopping off his ears of the authority. Can you imagine? Jesus had to correct him, but the ears back put the ears back on. It was a big mess, really.
Next case.
But Your Honor.
Next case.
Fabiana, dinner and a sensual massage. It will soothe you.
Your Honor, I cite Beatitudes in Kierkegaard. I cite Christ on the cross.
I cite my foot in your ass, Cunningham.
I cite Hegel within every idea. Thesis is contained as contradiction, antithesis, and out of struggle it's created. Synthesis, Your Honor. The union of opposites, their interdependence and their inevitable clash producing what's next, what must be revealed. God's perfect love versus God's rightful justice equals what, Your Honor?
Out of my courtroom.
The synthesis of love and justice can produce only mercy and forgiveness, Your Honor. If a just God sits in heaven, it can fall no other way.
Next case.
But Your Honor.
Next case. Next case. Next case. Next case.
The gavel bangs, blackout. Sotto voce.
Crazy, sick bitch.
In black, we hear voices, noises, rumblings, like an earthquake. Lights flash. All right now, people, cue them trumpets and the dancing camels. The sounds of trumpets and dancing camels are heard. Music and wild lights. St. Monica.
Gail, we can't hear you. Can't hear. I think you're on mute.
She
Okay,
is.
thank you. Sorry.
You're welcome.
I'll start over.
Yes, please.
Thanks, boys. Hey, y'all. Welcome to my world. So this is the part known to you more mortals as Saint Monica. Yeah, that's right. Saint. As in, better not. Don't get up in my grill. Because I'll mess your shit up. Because I'm a saint and I got mad saintly connects. Okay? You never ever drove down Santa Monica Boulevard? You ever ate some sushis down the Santa Monica Pier? Well, that's my boulevard and my pier. And that's all I got to say about that. Word to the wise, word is most definitely a B-O-N-D, bond. Anyways, let me catch my breath. Anyways, up in heaven, a lot of peoples don't want to hang with me because they say I'm a nag. It's true. And you know what I say about that? I say, fuck them bitches. Because you know what? I am a nag. And if I wasn't a nag, I would never made it to be no saint. And the church wouldn't have had no father of the church named St. Augustine. Because I birthed the motherfucker, raised him, and then he started messing up like all the time. And constantly, I nagged God as to save him. I nagged God's ass to save him. I nagged and nagged and nagged and nagged till God got so tired of my shit that he did save my son, and my son, St. Augustine, he stopped banging whores and sipping on some wine and became learned. So fucking learned that he's known as one of the fathers of the church. And you could look that up. Go ahead. Look it up right now. I'll wait. That's right. Father up in this motherfucker. Father of the church. Got a plague and everything. So if I hadn't been a nag, y'all niggas would have been a bastard church. So sip on that, bitches. Anyways, let me catch my breath. Okay, as a result of my reputation of having God's ear, a lot of motherfuckers pray to me. I have 3 full-time assistants just to sift through it all. Long story short, I was asked to look into the case of Judas Iscariot by this Irish gypsy lawyer bitch in purgatory named Cunningham. She wanted me to do some nagging to God on Judas's behalf, and quite frankly, I was impressed. Oh my God, there's more. Impressed her nagging abilities, because that bitch nagged my ass day and night for 40 days. But I don't nag for just anybody, and I definitely don't nag for no motherfucker I don't know. So I went down to check out Judas for my own self. He looked fucking retarded. He wouldn't talk or nothing. He didn't seem to hear me. And I'm someone who has a problem expressing myself. I figured he was faking. So I did this. Yo, Judas, yo, you deaf motherfucker, Judas, yo. I smacked the bitch around a little bit. Yo, Helen Keller, yo, wake up. I don't front. I know you could hear me. Then I started snapping on his ass. Yo, Judas, you got change for 30 pieces of silver, motherfucker? Yo, Judas, how much you pay for that haircut? 30 pieces of silver? Yo, Judas, why you so hung up? Come on, let's hang out. Come on, bitch, go out on a limb. You want an olive? Come on, motherfucker, have an olive. Want to go to the Olive Garden restaurant? They not good. Oh, they got good olive oil there. All right, fine. Come on, Judas. What do you say you and me go down to the bar and betray some motherfuckers? What do you say? I know you like betraying. What's up? You ain't in the mood to betray today? All right, motherfucker, you can just hang. Let it hang. Get it? Do you get it? What's the matter? Hungry? How about some supper? You want some supper, motherfucker? Come on, one last supper. What do you say? I couldn't break him. So I sat down next to him. I sat with the third day. I sat with Judas Iscariot for 3 days. Then on the night of the third day, something happened. While I was testing my vocal cords, I saw something unexpected. I saw a single tear fall out of Judas's eye. Just one. When that tear hit the ground, I saw it was red like a ruby. I looked into his eyes like this. He couldn't look at me, or he looked through me. I couldn't tell. His eyes were empty. He barely breathed. He was a catatonic statue of a former human being, and I detected sadness in him. Paralyzing, immobilizing, overwhelming sadness. His sadness ran through him like a river that had frozen up and died. No one lived there no more. After a while, I didn't know what else to do, so I thought I'd just hold him in my arms for like a minute, warm him up before I left. I held him in my arms for 4 days. On the third day, I remember how Jesus had said that God was the biggest love for the least of his had the biggest love for the least of his creatures, and Judas was the least of his creatures I had ever seen on the earth. On the fourth day, Judas dropped another single tear. It was clear colored this time, and it evaporated into the earth on impact. He trembled briefly, then froze up again. I had seen enough. I took off my outer garments and I left them for him so he would smell something human. I collected my tears in a bucket and poured it on his face so he could taste the salt. Then I went back home and got on the horn to God. I dialed direct, yo. Some people call it being a nag. I call it doing my job. I got a calling, y'all. You should try giving me a shout if you ever need it, because my name is Saint Monica. I'm the mother of St. Augustine, one of the fathers of the church. And you know what? My ass gets results.
A gavel bangs.
Next case.
God in the kingdom of heaven and earth versus Judas Iscariot.
Bailiff?
She got a writ signed by God, sir.
Signed, sealed, delivered, motherfucker. Peace.
Here is the writ, Your Honor. Note the signature at the bottom.
Bailiff, where's El Fajita?
El Fayoumi rises with panache. Tyler.
Present and accounted for and dripping with anticipation to defend with marvelous cunning and great relish with the kingdom of heaven and earth and your great sirness against the Satan spawn traitor Judas Iscariot and his beguiling but outlandishly misguided counsel most eminently great and rakishly handsome, great sir.
Cunningham, I do not like it when lawyers go over my head.
You gave me no choice.
Objection, Your Honor. As human beings, we always have choice. Motion to strike.
Mr. El Fajita, you are aware that the trial hasn't actually begun yet, right?
Yes. Right. Of course, I was merely Yes, sir.
Fabiana Aziza Cunningham, that right?
It is.
So where's the red hair and freckles, Cunningham?
My mother was a Romanian gypsy who settled in Vinegar Hill in Harlem in the 1960s.
And your father?
A local parish priest.
Got more than his palm read, did he? All right then, Cunningham. I think it is only fair at this juncture to tell you that some things about myself that may perhaps inspire you to take your little mission elsewhere. For example, I strongly dislike tapioca pudding.
Tapioca, the worst. I spit on it.
Sit down! But even worse than tapioca, Cunningham, I dislike the following. Defense attorneys as a rule, half-breeds in general, and Judas Iscariot as anything other than a cautionary tale. Now, that a problem for you?
No,
You ever met God, Cunningham?
I don't know that I believe in God.
You've just handed me a writ signed by him, and yet you don't know if you believe?
Correct.
Well, what if God appeared to you, Cunningham? Just one day, boom! God, white beard, flowing robe, the whole rack of lamb.
Your Honor,
What if you were to go home tonight, Cunningham, and Jesus Christ himself were there to greet you at your door with a dozen Krispy Kremes and a quart of cold milk and say, Cunningham, Fabiana, it's me. I really am the thing that you've always feared more than doubted. What would you do?
Your Honor,
What if we let him in, Cunningham, and you sat down with the man for just, say, 3 minutes, and you could touch him and inspect him and interrogate him all you want and have him do miracles and tell you the real exact story of your life, and you ended up convinced, Cunningham, wiping away tears of joy and relief on your living room couch. If he proved it to you, Cunningham, would you believe then?
if he approved it, I suppose I would have to.
After only 3 minutes?
But that would never happen.
Cunningham, you're the cynical, faithless spawn of a crackpot gypsy and a defrocked Mick. Yet you just told me Jesus would have you on your knees in 3 minutes.
So?
So consider this. Your friend Judas, he had Jesus for 3 years. Think about that, Cunningham. 3 years in the foxhole with the best friend you ever had, and then he shot him in the back for a pack of coals. Think what that says about the essential character of the man. Now go home and stick that into your gypsy teapot? Yeah, gypsy teapot. Petition's invalid. Motion denied. Next case.
Tyler.
Pure genius. I am erect.
Your Honor, this petition is signed by God.
Yeah, but it ain't signed by your client. Now is it?
My client is catatonic. He's incapable of signing.
If he's catatonic, how do you know he wants an appeal in the first place?
Wouldn't you want an appeal? It's from eternal damnation?
Someone who is aware of his own self-inflicted erosion of the capacity to be filled by grace? Someone too prideful to ask for forgiveness, even in the face of fiery furnace? Or maybe he don't bother asking because he knows he don't deserve it.
Your Honor, the only person who needs forgiveness is the one who doesn't deserve it.
Then let him ask.
I'm asking for him.
My courtroom, sister, and may God have mercy on your blasted arrogant soul. Now get thee back uptown, woman. Stop your butt rabble-rousing and get humble. You ain't gonna get to heaven by trying to dismantle the natural order of things and the good Lord has so thoughtfully put together.
Your Honor, are you a citizen of heaven?
Bailiff, remove this woman.
You live here with us. You know more about God's law than anyone in this court.
My papers are pending. I'll be up there any day now.
Your papers have been pending since 1864, Your Honor. That's 140 years.
If there's an insinuation at the end of that statement, Cunningham, I suggest you don't make it.
Not an insinuation, Your Honor, but a question. If the truth really does set us free, then what is it, Your Honor? That it's progressively precluding your capacity to respond to the call of the truth? Because 140 years suggests to me that you are not moving closer, but farther and farther away from its very day.
What the hell does Judas Iscariot have to do with my truth, Cunningham? I didn't hang myself from some olive branch.
Not from an olive branch, but on a battlefield in northern Georgia in 1864. Altoona. And the tree? Oak, I believe. Your Honor, I have to wonder what your honest answer will be when you are someday asked how different you are now than from the day you died.
Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. That work for you?
It does.
Put it in the docket.
Docket?
Just write it down.
The bailiff takes out a pen and scribbles info in his hand.
Anything else, Fabiana Aziza Cunningham?
No, Your Honor.
Next fucking case.
Tyler? Tyler?
Fear not, your grace. I shall slay this fallen woman as the crocodile slays the one-legged newt.
Next case. Next case. Next case. Next case. Next case.
The gavel bangs. Gloria and Loretta, wearing a hospital gown, appear.
Very little is actually known about Judas Iscariot. Oh, this is my fellow jury member, Loretta. On Earth, she's currently on life support.
Hi. Hello.
Have they figured out whether you are coming or going yet?
Not really. Any day now, they say.
Mm-hmm. Say, Loretta, you smoke cigarettes?
Well, not unconscious on a respirator.
Yeah, but you got one for me?
Maybe in my clutch. Oh, here.
Oh, snap. Newport. Hey, you my girl now. You got a life?
It's a NASCAR lighter.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, about Judas. Not a lot is known except that he was chosen to be an apostle. He betrayed Jesus and then he hung himself. Not a lot to go on, especially when we're meant to rely on facts.
You know, I had an uncle. Can I say this?
Go ahead.
When I was a little girl, my drunk Uncle Pino, he used to like to go around saying,
I believe because it is absurd. It is certain because it is impossible.
Now, what did he mean by that?
no clue. But I think
Joe? Joe?
I think he's on mute.
Unmute yourself, Joe.
I'm here.
To your line.
Yeah,
we got to you.
I have a line?
Yes.
Page 19.
On page 19. Middle of the page.
Wait a
What
minute.
I think.
Butch has a line on page 19?
Yes.
Yeah, halfway through.
Oh, I didn't even
And then
look
you got a
there.
monologue.
Right below Loretta and before Gloria.
Oh, what's the line? I don't have the script with me. I just have the last 3 pages.
Ladies, we're back.
Ladies, we're back.
You got a lot of lines coming up, though.
Oh my God, yes.
You
Oh,
have a
wait.
monologue.
You better print out page 19, Joe.
I'm just gonna jump in. You,
Okay.
Hey, why don't you jump in there?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Okay. Ladies, we're back.
Oh, wait. Hold up.
I'll have to print out the, what page, 19 on?
19.
Now,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
wait, hold up now. Now that's Butch Honeywell. And unlike Loretta, he is definitely dead. And also, unlike Loretta, he got no real interest in finding that out.
Gloria snaps her fingers again, and Butch and Loretta unfreeze.
So, Butch, did We miss anything in there?
Just some crap about the essential paradox of man, how we refuse to juxtapose the absolute to the relative, and some such about paradox as ontological definitions, which expresses the relation between an existing cognitive spirit and eternal truth. You know, bullshit. Listen, they passed out the lunch menus. I ordered you guys the combo club with fritters.
Fritters, awesome. Thanks, Butch.
Right this way, ladies.
The gavel bangs.
Next witness.
Tyler.
Great, magnificent sir. The prosecution now calls Henrietta Iscariot, mother to Judas. I'm pronouncing this wrong. Iscariot to the stand.
State your name, ma'am.
Henrietta Iscariot.
Tyler.
Sorry, this thing is a piece of shit.
Top of page 20.
Yes, good day, Miss Iscariot.
Good day.
Yes, well, I can't help but notice, Miss Iscariot, that you are a very well-built woman. Would it be fair to say, would it be fair to say your cup runneth over?
All of the Iscariots are buxom, if that's what you mean.
My meaning exactly. Now then, can you recall if Judas Iscariot, as an infant, was prone to steal more than his fair share of milk from your deliciously well-proportioned bosom?
I can't recall that, no.
So to the stand.
Mother Teresa hobbles up to the stand by cane. She's old but tough. She wears her signature sari and cross around her neck. She can hardly hear at all.
Name?
Did you say something?
Name.
What?
Your name, please, ma'am.
Oh, Jess. 10:45. Okay?
Mother Teresa, hello, over here?
Who that?
Hello, it is I. Mother, remember me?
Oh, Jess. Handsome boy. Hello.
Yes, hello. How are you?
Speak louder, boy.
I said, how are you?
What?
I said, how are you?
Judge, bailiff, I believe we do have a hearing device for Mother Teresa.
Get the device.
I believe you have the device, sir.
What? Here.
The bailiff takes a large set of headphones and hands them to Mother Teresa.
Ma'am, put these on, ma'am.
What?
The bailiff puts the earphones on Mother Teresa.
Oh. Thank you, giant man.
Yes, hello, Mother. Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
How about now?
Yes.
How about that?
You are tricking me, no?
Yes, yes, I was tricking.
Bad boy.
Very bad. A scandal. Yes, I know.
Your Honor, if prosecution is through flirting with the beatified iconic virgin, we could perhaps begin.
El Fayumi, contact has been established. Let's get on with it now, shall we?
Without further hesitation, Your Grace, forgive the delay. I was simply enamored to be in her barific presence. Your Eminence, I love Mother Teresa, great one. In Christian Egypt, she is a great star. As a young boy, I used to don a towel and my mother's nightgown and stalk the back streets of Cairo, thank you, looking for dying things to comfort and salve. Yes.
Ephiome has become a little emotional to Mother Teresa.
Mother, I love you, really. You are the one. You are the light.
Do we need to take a moment here, Counselor?
Yes, Your Honor. Perhaps we do.
5-minute recess adjourned.
The lights fade to St. Peter and St. Matthew, sitting in a quiet place up above.
My name is Peter. They got a basilica named after me in Rome, which is ironic because back in the day, if you even said the word Rome in my presence, more than likely, I'd have beat you with my stick. I even had a standing rule on a fishing boat that was strictly enforced. Talk about Rome, and your ass can swim home alone. I had to have those kind of rules laid down strong because my younger brother Drew and his friends, they like to waste their time talking about overthrowing Rome and the coming of the Messiah instead of focusing on the task at hand. And I'd always be like, look, fellas, unless your Messiah gonna come down right now and help us catch some fish, then y'all need to shut the heck up and put your undivided focus on these damn nets. Then one day, Drew didn't turn up for work, and he come running up to me at the shore at the end of the day when I'm bringing the boat back in, talking about, this is Jesus, bro. He's the Messiah. I ain't fishing no more. I'm just gonna follow him. And this Jesus, who resembled a Messiah about as much as I resemble a ballerina in a tutu, strides on up to me and says, catch any fish today? And I says, no, I did not catch any fish today. And he says, take the boat back out to the sea and you're gonna catch some fish. So I took Jesus out with me, intending to throw his ass overboard, but then he says, cast your nets wide and deep. So I did. And then, well, all I can say is, I'm a damn professional commercial fisherman. No one knew the sea and its tides better than me. There weren't no fish out there, but that's because it turned out they was all in my net. And then Jesus said, follow me and I will make you a fisher of men. And what I didn't know then was that I would never see the sea again.
My name is Matthew. I was a Jewish tax collector for the empire. My job was to take the food out of your mouth and see it shift off to Rome. Roman tax was exorbitant and non-negotiable. If you had 6 geese, I took 3. If you had a flock of sheep, I took 50%. If you had only 1 sheep, I cut that sheep in half. If you had no sheep, I took a child, your child, and had him or her sold into slavery to settle your debt to the emperor. This is not a made-up story. This is history. This is fact. We were a conquered nation, and I was a traitor to my people. I was a Jew stealing from Jews. According to our laws, I was a sinner and a traitor. I was unclean, unfit to be gazed upon. That's who I was.
I hated your ass to look at it.
And I looked at you, Peter, as a dumb, ignorant fisherman.
And I looked at you, Matthew, as something I can't say in mixed company.
I was a scumbag.
True that.
I was a scumbag, and it was against the laws to look me in the eye. Jesus, he looked me in the eye. That's all he did. He looked me in my eye and he said, follow me and believe. And before, oh shit. And before I knew it, I had. And before we broke bread that night, I was clean again. I was clean.
Lights fade as the gavel bangs.
El Fayumi, are we ready to proceed?
El Fayumi rises.
Absolutely. Forgive me the delay, Mother Teresa. I will not take much more of your time here, and certainly you are in no need of introduction.
I don't mind.
Very well then. Mother Teresa, you are soon to be canonized saint and a recipient of the Nobel Prize for Peace. you are from Albania, which tells me you know how to handle a firearm. But yet, from the age of 12, you desired to serve God. At 18, you enter the convent, and at 21, you left for the slums of Calcutta, and soon after began ministering to the sick and dying, which you did with the mercy, love, grace, and generosity for the rest of your life until the day you died, correct?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely yes, Mother. Now then, Mother, I called you to the stand today for a special purpose.
And what is that?
Yes, I am coming to it, Mother. Your life and subsequent canonized suggests to me that you know a thing or two about God and the life of the Spirit, correct?
I know what I know. What do you want to know?
Yes, Mother, is there a hell?
Oh, I hope not, but I think so.
Jesus Iscariot, he is in hell, yes?
Well, we can't never know for sure, but it don't look good.
Mother, shouldn't we feel sorry for someone in hell?
Oh, very sorry. Yes.
Does God feel sorry for people in hell?
More sorry than us. Yes.
But if God feels so sorry, why not bring the damned upstairs? 3 huts and a cot, yes? Surely God has that power.
Boy, God can lead us anywhere, but sometimes the people, they don't want to go. If the people don't want to go, then what are you going to do?
But surely these people do not prefer to go to hell.
You'd be surprised. Do you know what despair is, boy?
Mother, illuminate me.
I will tell you what Thomas Merton, who was a very handsome boy like you, I will tell you what that boy had to say about despair. You may not know this, but I, at one time in my life, suffered a great spiritual darkness.
Oh, no, not you.
Quiet now, boy. Yes, for many, many years, I experienced a terrible pain of loss, of God not wanting me, of God not being God, and of God not really existing. One day, I confided my feelings to a friend, an Irish man, one of the sisters of Loreto from, an Irish nun, sorry, one of the sisters of Loreto from Dublin, Ireland. My friend, Sister Glenna, she quoted to me Thomas Merton on the subject of despair. She said,
Despair is the ultimate development of a pride so great and so stiff-necked that it selects the absolute misery of damnation rather than accept happiness from the hands of God, and thereby acknowledge that He is above us and that we are not capable of fulfilling our destiny by ourselves.
do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Can you repeat it?
Yes, sure.
Despair is the ultimate development of a pride so great and so stiff-necked that it selects the absolute misery of damnation rather than accept happiness from the hands of God, and thereby acknowledge that He is above us and that we are not capable of fulfilling our destiny by ourselves.
Ah, yes, I think I see.
Now, Judas, he succumbed to despair. The music of God's love and grace kept playing, but he made himself hard of hearing, like me, no? I need this earphone device to hear you. Just without them, I can no hear nothing. Judas, he threw his earphones away, and that is very sad. But that is what he chooses, and that is what happened.
But mother, couldn't God just obtain a megaphone and simply shouted instructions into Judas's ear?
Boy, one must participate in one's own salvation. In order to hear, one must be willing to listen. When you turn off God, you are saying, I know better than you. No good, boy. No good.
No good indeed, mother. You are a ravishing delight, and I thank you for your sure and expert testimony.
Judge is on mute.
Judgy Wudgy.
Cross.
Mother Teresa, upon receiving your Nobel Prize, did you say to the world, quote, the biggest obstacle to global peace in the world today is abortion?
Yes, I said that.
Do you actually believe that?
Yes, I do.
You accepted large cash donations from the Duvalier family in Haiti, correct?
Yes.
Duvalier being a dictator who murdered and stole from his people.
He gave, I took.
Blood money?
No, cashier's check.
You also took money from Charles Keating, the savings and loan scam artist who robbed American citizens of billions of dollars?
For the poor, I took it. You got $5? I take from you too.
You opposed the Vatican II reforms, which, among other things, call for a long overdue official condemnation of anti-Semitism as it relates to the death of Christ. Did you oppose Vatican II, Mother Teresa?
Yes.
You blamed the wars of the world on abortion, took blood money from murderers and thieves, and opposed taking a stance against anti-Semitism. I'm having trouble understanding why we're supposed to consider you an expert on anything having to do with the spirit.
Oh, Jess?
Yes.
Then maybe you better figure it out.
I had 2 abortions, Mother Teresa. What do you think about that?
I will pray for you and your children.
I don't have any children.
Not anymore, and that's terrible.
Mother Teresa, if abortion is so terrible, then how come I'm not in hell?
I don't know. Did anybody tell you you weren't?
Must be nice to have all the answers.
Must be hard to have only questions.
I can live with my questions, Mother Teresa, but if you can live with those answers, then, with all due respect, I say your place is not in heaven with the saints, but with the rest of the dinosaurs living in the Stone Age. Nothing further.
The Fayumi rises.
Mother Teresa, I wonder if you join me in wondering just who the hell defense counsel thinks she's speaking like that too?
It's okay, boy. Everybody wants to say something.
Yes.
Nobody want to listen. Nothing.
This is correct, Mother. And on that well-struck note, Mother, let us now go back and address some of the outlandish.
I go now.
But I'm not finished.
I go now.
Oh, as you wish, Mother. And I think we should all emblazon in our memories.
Mother Teresa takes off her earphones.
Boy.
Yes, Mother?
Maybe, boy, you give this earphone device to girl, like this. Maybe girl gonna hear something, make her head don't hurt no more.
There is nothing wrong with my head.
Cunningham, stand down.
Nice boy. Handsome boy.
And time stands still as we see Mother Teresa bobble off. Gavel bangs.
Defense calls Simon the Zealot to the stand.
Name?
Simon the Zealot.
You were one of the 12 apostles, Simon, correct?
Yeah,
And you were a zealot.
yeah.
Was Judas Iscariot a zealot?
Well, he didn't go to the meetings or nothing, but yeah, he was pretty much a zealot if you ask me.
Zealots being Jews seeking an end to the violent oppression of the Roman occupation, correct?
Actually, not exactly, no.
Are you saying the zealots were in favor of the occupation?
Nah, not at all. We hated the Romans. Absolutely, we wanted their pagan asses to hit the curb running and bloody, but we was also opposed to any Gentiles in Palestine, Greek, Roman, whoever. What us zealots was really about was promoting a strict adherence to the Mosaic law.
Mosaic law being...
The law of Moses, the Torah. That was the whole bag right there, miss. Get rid of the bad seeds and unite the people under the holy law of God. Basically, we were the street version of Caiaphas the Elder, except we had knives and shit. We thought Caiaphas was soft.
Soft how?
With the Romans. He was a bit of a politician, you know?
And what was like life under Roman rule?
Where are you from, man?
New York.
Okay. Imagine New York was taken over by like violent, devil-worshipping cannibals who spit on your laws, stole all your money, took your women and children as slaves, and put giant swastikas on all your bridges, tunnels, libraries, and civic institutions. And anybody that complained about it got nailed naked to a piece of wood in Times Square, left to be eaten by rats and shit on by pigeons until the weight of their body asphyxiated them to death. That's what it was like.
And you thought Jesus was going to change that, didn't you?
We all did.
Change it how?
Throw them out. That's what the Messiah was supposed to do.
But he didn't do that, did he?
Nah.
And yet he was capable of it, wasn't he? You saw him perform miracles, raise people from the dead.
It was a bit of a conundrum, yeah.
Were you at the disturbance at the temple?
Yeah.
What'd you think about that?
Yeah, kidding? I loved it. Judas, too. We all did. We thought it was on, you know?
On meaning?
The beginning of the revolution.
But it wasn't, was it?
Nah.
What happened after the riot in the temple?
Jesus had us all retreat to this house. Then he was like, I'm going to die soon, so let's just chill.
Must have been disappointing.
It was confusing. I mean, whacked out shit, man. 1 minute, Jesus is beating infidels down. I'm talking fists and whips. Jesus was whipping ass, knocking out teeth, screaming he's going to tear down the temple. The next minute, he's all passive. And we were all like, we invested 3 years in this guy, and now he's going to just lay down? Didn't seem to make no sense.
Simon, why do you think Judas Iscariot turned Jesus into the authorities?
Personally, I think Judas was trying to throw Jesus into the deep end of the pool, make him swim.
Judas was testing Jesus.
Not testing, because we all knew Jesus had mad skills to pass the test.
What then?
Listen, I knew Judas pretty good. He was pretty tight on account of, our politics and whatnot. What I believe is this. Judas knew that if the Romans grabbed up Jesus, that Jesus would have to act.
Meaning?
Meaning act. Get it on and start kicking ass like he was supposed to. Emancipation was our birthright. That's what the Messiah was there for. I think personally that Judas did what he did to help Jesus realize his destiny and fulfill his mission.
Judas tried to help Jesus.
I believe so, yes.
Thank you.
El Fayumi rises. Tyler.
So Judas was a helper, eh?
Yeah.
Just there to lend the helping hand, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. I think you are correct. A zealous one. Because for me, I know that if my best friend were to sell me out and betray me for a roll of quarters, causing me to be beaten, whipped, gooped, and mangled, and then strung up to the left to the baked by the hot Judean sun, till I resembled a shriveled up bearded Frankfurter, why, yes. I'm sure my first thought as I gasped for air and bled to death would be, really, that Judas? What a helpful guy. Oh, yes. I must remember to send him the thank you note. Simon the Zealot, let's talk turkey. Judas was your friend, yes?
Yeah.
You thought the same way, yes?
Yeah.
Shared the same opinions?
Yeah.
Had the same beliefs?
Yeah.
Wanted the same things?
Yes.
Wanted them desperately.
Yeah.
Then why, Zealot, did you not do like Judas did? If you believed what you believed and thought what you thought, why Zealot did not join Judas or turn Jesus in on your own? Can you explain me this?
I don't know.
Protecting a friend. That is admirable, indeed, Zealot. Jesus never said his mission is as Messiah on earth was to overthrow the Romans, did he?
Not exactly, no.
You wanted it to be the mission. You even thought it was the mission, but it wasn't really the mission, was it?
I guess not.
How is it, zealous one, that you came to understand the violence wasn't part of Jesus' mission, but Judas never did?
I couldn't say.
Answer me this. Why? What was your inner life like before you met Jesus of Nazareth? I don't think I need to advise you to be honest here, do I?
Nah, I was consumed with anger. Jesus, he saved my life.
Man of zeal, fine question. Do you believe, as the Bible says, that God made man in his own image?
I do.
Of course you do, and there, zealous friend, lies the answer to one of my previous questions. The difference I posit between you and Judas Iscariot is that you accepted that you were created in God's image, whereas Judas Iscariot, he sought to create God into his own image. God as earthly avenger, which was not God's way. And even though you were scared, Zealot, even though you were confused and angry and hurt, you choose to obey God. You chose to obey God, didn't you?
I guess I got lucky.
Luck indeed. Simon the Zealot, there is something beautiful about you, and that is your modesty. You are a thing. You are a God-fearing man. Go now. Be free.
Fabiana rises.
Jesus never proclaimed himself to be God, Simon. Correct. Correct?
Nah, he never did.
What did Jesus say to Judas at the Last Supper?
He said, do what you gotta do.
Sounds like Jesus approved.
Maybe.
But if you were Judas, Simon, and doing what you had to do ended up getting you thrown into despair and hanging from a tree and then sent to hell to live in misery and infamy and perpetuity, if you were Judas, wouldn't you have kind of wished that Jesus had maybe said something else instead?
Yes, counselor, I very much would have.
Would it kind of make you feel like you got fucked?
Objection. Language. A foul mouth is a dirty bird.
I withdraw the question.
I would have felt like you said, though.
Thank you, Simon. Nothing further.
Next witness.
Most reverend Signor, with your magisterial permission, prosecution now conjusts Satan, Prince of Darkness, to the stand.
Satan enters, waves amiably to the jury.
Name?
Fabiana Aziza Cunningham, right?
Oh,
I've been keeping the light on for you, Cunningham.
come on now, Lou. Why don't you take your seat and we can get started here?
You never change, Frank, do you?
I suppose I don't.
I like that about you. Now say, how's Wilhelmina doing? And the girls?
I wouldn't know. Now, park your caboose in that chassis if you would, please.
I'm sorry. Of course. Fire away. My apologies, Frank.
Bailiff,
I was helping the elderly, sir.
let us proceed. El Fayumi, proceed.
Yes. Yes. How are you today, Satan?
Well, long night, but no regrets.
Up late partying with the descendant and debauched?
Oh, God. Does it show?
Oh, no, not at all.
I'm sorry. I tell you, I can barely make it through. Make it in, though, through my double session Pilates this morning. If it weren't for the good genes, I'd be a raisin with tits and a perm.
Yes, well, you look very good. Sincerely, really, Satan, you have an excellent physique.
Oh, thank you. So do you.
Thank you. You too. Yes, I make excuses. Anyway, so no horns and tail today. Prince of Evil?
No.
At the dry cleaners, I suppose?
Yes.
Yes, I must say. Claimer of the damned, your candor is quite refreshing.
As is yours.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Oh, your jacket, Satan, really is smart.
Oh, you like it?
Beautiful, really. Armani?
Gucci.
Gucci, yes. Elegant, very, yes. So, and your trousers, they are Gucci too?
Yes.
They have lovely sheen. Anyway, let's begin then, shall we?
I am at your service.
I appreciate that.
And I appreciate your appreciation.
Excellent. So, Dark One, tell me, did you ever have any conversations with Judas Iscariot prior to his scowling out of Jesus Christ?
No, I did not.
Sure about that?
Quite sure, yes.
Never entered into him, as I believe St. Luke's Godspell puts it?
No.
And again, you are more or less sure of that?
Ask my main squeeze Sheila. If I had entered Judas Iscariot, trust me, he would have felt my considerable presence, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
You and Jimmy Woods. I've heard the rumors. So then it would be safe to say that the devil didn't make him do it.
Absolutely. Unless, of course, there's some other devil running around that I don't know about.
Very funny, really. You are quite charming, Satan. But let us be quite clear. You did nothing, Satan, nothing, to sway Judas Iscariot towards selling out Jesus of Nazareth, Nazareth? Prince
Nazareth.
Correct? Nazareth, thank you. Prince of Peace, correct?
Correct.
Not even a tiny nudge?
Honestly, he didn't require nudging. Judas was a gimme. It happens like that sometimes.
A gimme. Yes, a bad seed.
Yes.
Yes, well then, how about after he did the deadly deed? Did you speak with the Savior betrayer then?
I spoke to him, yeah.
Care to share?
Not a problem. I appeared to Mr. Iscariot as Bathsheba's at Bathsheba's Bar and Grill, shortly after the night in question. I was actually in town for a guy named Abdul Mazi Hatan, but he never showed. When I encountered Mr. Iscariot, he appeared to have already taken full advantage of the happy hour. Oh, hello, friend. How are you this evening?
Am I this evening? What are you, a fucking maitre d', man?
I'm Clementine. Clementine of Cappadocia.
Yeah. Well, why don't you go home and fuck your mother, Cappadocia, okay?
Cappadocia.
What?
It's Cappadocia.
Well, let me ask you something, Cappadocia. Do I look like someone who gives a flying fuck right now about where the fuck you're from?
I'm very sorry.
Sorry don't mean shit, Dick. Take all your sorries in the world, pile them one on top of the other. You know what you got? Cappadocia. You got a big pile of fucking nothing is what you got, okay?
You're right.
You want to do something about it?
No, sir.
Then go fuck your mother and leave me the fuck alone.
I will. Thanks for the advice.
Hey, where you going?
It seems like you prefer to be alone.
Well, why should I prefer that? What are you saying? I look like some kind of a lone wolf? Like a fucking piranha, bro?
You mean pariah?
I mean what I mean. What do you need a light or something?
Oh, thanks.
Like this lighter?
Very nice.
I bought it today, man. Expensive shit, but I got it like that.
I can see you're a man of wealth and substance. I admire that.
Wealth and substance? Don't push it. What's your name?
Clementine. Clementine of Cappadocia.
Clementine. Hey, isn't that a girl's name?
Not in Cappadocia.
Well, it is here, bro. You sure you ain't a girl, man?
Pretty sure. Yeah.
I'm Judas. Judas Iscariot. Maybe you heard of me?
Nah, man. I'm from out of town.
You never heard of me?
Nope.
You don't got around much, do you, Clementine? So whereabouts you from, man? Egypt?
Cappadocia.
Well, that's in Egypt, all right?
No. Cappadocia is in Cappadocia.
I dig your pyramids, man. And the Sphinx? Bartender, hey, more of that Mesopotamian wine here for my Nubian friend. And some dates and figs, too. You smoke opium, Clam?
Clem.
It's some opium, bartender, the good stuff.
You seem like a man on a mission.
I took this girl to a puppet show today, man.
Yeah? How was it?
It sucked. Puppets are bullshit, you know?
In Cappadocia, we burned puppets.
Well, you people got the right idea over there. That Pharaoh, he's a smart man. Yeah, man. Hey, Clammy, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, well, whoa, hey, man. That's a nice shirt. What you pay for it?
2 pieces of silver.
2 pieces of silver? Huh. I'll give you 5. Here you go. Switch shirts with me.
But I'm rather fond of this shirt.
My man, switch shirts. Switch shirts. We're buds now. Friends and shit. I'll let you be my wingman. Gets you laid, bro.
Nice brunette.
2 brunettes and the eunuch. Come on, strip.
Oh, okay. He was so drunk, he didn't even notice my unmistakably satanic stench.
Yo, I dig this shirt. What is it, silk?
From Cappadocia.
Fucking Cappadocian silk. All right.
Your shirt is nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks, man. That's a nice thing to say. Yeah, been a while since I heard something nice. That's really nice, bro. Hey, man, if I told you something corny, would you think that I was like a dick?
Not at all.
Okay. I'm kind of mildly afraid of going to hell.
Why?
Minor incident last night. A miscalculation on my part. Nothing serious.
Well, one thing I can tell you about hell. As an eternal destination, it's apparently vastly underrated.
Yeah.
And hell is nothing more than the absence of God, which, if you're looking for a good time, is not at all a bad thing. You want to play the lute, sing Mary Chapin Carpenter? That's what heaven's for. You want to rock? Apparently hell's the venue.
Are there like girls down there?
Not many, but I hear they import them from developing nations on weekends. But hey, I wouldn't worry about going to hell.
Even if I did something perhaps a little controversial?
God understands.
Yeah, but don't choices have like consequences?
Come on, you really think we have a choice?
Well, don't we?
Okay. Did you pass by that fucking disgusting, stinky fucking leper on your way in here tonight?
Who, Freddie?
Freddie, yeah. You think he had a choice? Freddie? Stinking it up out there? Can't scratch his balls for fear of pulling out his testes? Ah! And what about what's-his-face from the old days? Job? Don't you think if Job had a choice, he would have been like, okay, God, enough. I get the fucking point.
Yeah, but Job did say that.
Yes, he did. And what happened next, Judas? God kept right on fucking with him until Job made the only choice available, which was to quietly keep his wrinkly ass cheeks spread wider than the Red Sea till God get tired of drilling him for oil.
I guess, but say, never mind.
What?
Not important.
Come on.
Okay, well, say, what if someone were to betray, for example, the Messiah?
You mean the Messiah?
Yeah, say some idiot had a choice to betray the Messiah or not betray him, and he chose to betray him.
Gee, I couldn't say. What do you think?
I'd say the guy's fucked, right?
I really couldn't say.
Come on, Clams, I'm just asking.
Well, since you asked, I guess I'd say that if this guy...
Because this is just some hypo-theoretical guy here.
Right, I'd say that if this clown we're talking about betrayed the Messiah, that probably it would have been better for that man if he'd have never been born.
Never been born?
Hey, you asked.
Ooh, that's heavy, man. That's a fucking heavy trip, man. Clams.
I'm thirsty. How about you?
That's fucking really heavy.
Let's have another round here. Pops, 2 barrels of wine, and a hooker menu. You okay, man?
Clams, man, I just realized that I haven't been laid in 3 years, bro. Can you believe that? Guy like me?
3 years?
I wasted my prime, man. And then I wanted my prime after my prime. I wasted my prime after my prime.
Well, I think you'll probably get fucked tonight, bro.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I want another fucking drink. Tonight, man, I'm gonna drink this fucking bar.
Hey, Judas, let me ask you something. Who is this Jesus of Nazareth guy I've been hearing about?
Jesus of Nazareth?
Yeah, I heard he's some kind of somebody.
Some kind of somebody?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Oh, fuck that guy, man. He's a bitch.
Yusuf rises triumphantly. Yusuf. Tyler.
Sorry, what page?
40.
Thank you.
All caps. Look for the caps.
Yeah, I'm Yusuf too. I forgot.
El Fayumi.
El Fayumi. Yusuf is your first name.
Oh yeah. Sabrina, free for lunch?
No, no.
No.
No, 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 no.
Oh, fuck that guy. He's a bitch. Your Honor, nothing further.
Ross.
Not at this time.
Lou, stick around.
I know the drill.
The gavel bangs.
Meal break. 15 minutes.
Sabrina, free for lunch?
Gavel bangs. Intermission. Take 5, guys. Act 2. Sic
Okay.
du dilexic mundum.
Deus,
Hey, y'all.
Deus.
This is Mary Maddox. She the only bitch I let hang with me up here. Tell him what you got to say.
My name is Mary of Magdala. I was a disciple of Jesus. I was present at the crucifixion, and I was the first person he appeared to after the resurrection.
Ah.
I got clout. I was one of the founders of the Christian faith, and I was known for my ability in times of difficulty to be able to turn the hearts of the apostles towards the good.
The good.
Some people think I was a whore.
Misogynist bitches.
Furious, shaking his head wildly, snorting and clicking his teeth, red-faced with exasperation. And he would tell me what they had been fighting about, still agitated, but inevitably he would end up staring into space and sighing, smiling. I think that if someone were to say that Judas was good for Jesus, that they would not be mistaken.
Not mistaken.
When I think of Judas, my heart breaks.
But Mary Mags, if we are all eternal, and if human life is only the first mile in a billion, do you honestly believe that God could abandon any motherfucker so soon in the journey?
I don't know. Jesus never talks about it. That's how I know. His heart hurts worse than mine.
The gavel bangs.
Next witness.
Defense calls Sigmund Freud, Your Honor.
Name?
Dr. Sigismund Shlomo Freud.
Dr. Freud, would it be accurate to say you qualify as an expert in the field of modern psychiatry?
Fraulein, I am modern psychiatry.
Objection, Your Honor. The witness is boasting.
Overruled.
But a boaster, Your Eminence, is distasteful, really.
Sit down, El Fayumi.
I lunge to obey you, your grace, and let the record reflect the prosecution has grave reservations about this man's alleged so-called standing as a psychiatric expert.
Perhaps a quick jaunt to London for a leisurely perusal of the standard edition of the complete psychological works of Sigmund Freud, volumes 1 through 24, would set your mind at ease.
Perhaps it would if you never indeed. Oh, I see. Right. Yes, of course. Yes.
Dr. Freud, are you in fact the founder of psychoanalysis? You are in fact the founder of psychoanalysis, correct?
I am.
You maintained a private practice in neuropathology for nearly a half a century. Is that not so?
It is.
You were on the cover of Time magazine in an issue dedicated to the greatest scientific minds of the 20th century.
I was.
Are you familiar with the case history of one Judas Iscariot?
Most certainly.
Dr. Freud, in your expert opinion, can a suicide victim be pre-certified as psychotic?
Without question, man's instinct for self-preservation is his most supple and reflexive muscle. When that muscle fails, it is because his mind has failed. A decision to take one's life can only be precipitated by a failure of the mind, an irrational rebellion against men's most basic instinct to endure and live. Therefore, yes, the victim of suicide must be pre-certified as indeed psychotic.
In your expert opinion, Dr. Freud, was Judas Iscariot a psychotic?
Without question.
And are psychotics responsible for their actions?
No, they are not. For example, I say I have a bad bout of influenza. As a result of my bad influenza, I sneeze rudely but involuntarily in your face. The next day, you wake up with the same flu. Did I cause your flu? No. My flu caused your flu. I only sneezed because I was sick.
In your opinion, Dr. Freud, did Judas Iscariot belong in hell?
No, he does not.
Explain.
Suicide is a direct sign of mental illness.
But did he become mentally ill after allegedly betraying Jesus of Nazareth? Or was he mentally ill to begin with?
Pre-programmed, yes. You must understand normal people do not kill themselves, even under extreme duress.
And what would you say to people who would say that Judas brought about his own mental illness by betraying Jesus and getting him crucified?
I would say this. Number one, you cannot conjure or bring about mental illness. Number two, any God who punishes the mentally ill is not worth worshipping. And number three, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. The person who could have prevented this tragedy was Jesus, not Judas. He chose not to.
But isn't Judas responsible because he did what he did of his own free will?
Fraulein, I once had a suicidal patient leap through my fourth floor window to her death. She exercised her free will. Did I bill her estate for the broken plate glass window she leapt through? Of course not. My friend Winston Churchill, who provided me a safe haven from the Nazis in 1938, likes to say, the price of greatness is responsibility. I believe firmly in taking responsibility. So, after the unfortunate woman's death, I exercised responsibility for my greatness by moving my offices to the ground floor. I should think God would have done the same.
Your witness.
So here, doctor, Dr. Freud, yes, sorry for the mix-up before.
Yes, excuse me. Ugh.
So here, doctor, I must admit, I am intimidated to be the midst of such great.
I was trying to determine its medicinal value.
Is that your real nose?
Your mother denied you her breast, didn't she?
I'll thank you to let me ask the questions, Dr. Freud. Freud?
Freud.
Oh, yes, Freud, of course. Forgive me. I made you slip, didn't I? Anyway, last question, Mr. Expert Genius, Dr. Freud. You were an avowed atheist all your life, correct?
Correct.
And then you died and found out what?
I experienced anti-Semitism as a child. It prejudiced me against religion.
Einstein experienced prejudice, but he wasn't wrong like you, was he? My cousin Wagri can't count to 10 without drooling, but he wasn't wrong like you either, was he? Was he?
Intelligence and faith are two different things.
Are they, Dr. Freud? Because I would say that you can't have one without the other. But of course, I'm not a brilliant genius expert like you, am I?
I had a wonderful, vibrant mind, and my intellectual curiosity was boundless.
El Fayumi makes a violin-playing gesture.
Good day, doctor. Go blow your nose. You are excused.
Dr. Freud, do sane people commit suicide? Yes or no?
No, though they can sometimes be tempted to murder.
Go murder an 8-ball, egghead.
That's enough. Next witness. Next witness.
Irresistibly alluring, Majesty. Prosecution calls legendary Hawaiian singer and popular entertainer Don Ho to the stand.
Don Ho's not dead.
Oh, well, thank God for that. In that case, prosecution calls Cepheus the Elder, high priest of the Sanhedrin, to the stand.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, at this time, I must excuse myself from these proceedings until such time as said witness has concluded testimony. Before his ascension into the lap of the Lord, Caiaphas the Elder and I were partners in a successful chain of kosher pizza parlors in East Purgatory. For that reason, at this time, I must step down. Bailiff, get your ass over here and put on those glasses and adjudicate. Pronto. Proceed.
Judge exits as El Fayume approaches Fabiana.
Fabiana, may I borrow a pen?
Only if I could shove it through your eye.
Fabiana, how can I prove my sincerity to you? Even though you are always here and I am always here, still, I think of you when you aren't here, even though you are always here.
Next witness, please.
Yes, I obey. Later we shall discuss. Yes, Julius the bailiff, correct? May I call you Julius?
All right.
How about Jules?
I guess.
So tell me, Jay, shall we commence?
That'd be good.
Wise Jay. Prosecution calls Cepheus the Elder.
He enters.
Caiaphas the Elder, high priest of the Sanhedrin, hello to you.
Hello.
Shalom, as it were.
Shalom.
Capheus the Elder, perhaps you can clear this up. Is there Capheus the Younger?
No.
And yet you are the elder?
Yes.
I see. Yes, thank you. My cousin Agad Waba owes me $5 now. So Capheus the Elder, in the Bible, it says that Judas Iscariot, much an approach to you, a dark and nefarious approach, to offer the location of Jesus of Nazareth and to, in fact, turn him to you and the authorities, correct?
Correct.
Capheus the Elder, you are saying that it was Judas Iscariot who approached you and not the other way around?
Yes.
Because I saw in a film once, Capheus the Elder, where it was you who approached him.
It was Judas Iscariot who approached me at the temple, not the other way around.
Yes, but still, even though your statement is indeed confirmed by all 4 Gospels, Capheus the Elder, I must ask you again. Did you approach Judas Iscariot about betraying his leader and Messiah, Jesus of Nazareth?
I did not.
Why not? Jesus was big-headed to you, no? You were legitimately concerned that the hijinks of Jesus would lead to an uprising and a resulting crushing Roman massacre of your Jewish people in retribution, weren't you?
I was.
So why not reach and touch someone, Capheus the Elder?
Are you asking me why I didn't try to approach any of the apostles initially?
Yes.
I didn't think it would work.
Why not?
There is an old rabbinical saying, let them kill you who do not cross the line. During my 18-year reign as head of the Sanhedrin and guardian of the temple, I dealt with countless messiahs, zealots, rebels, and fanatical believers. My experience in these matters taught me they get killed, yes, but as a rule, they do not cross the line.
Cross the line, yes. This means what?
To betray your ideals, your conscience, the law.
Judas crossed that line, didn't he?
He did.
He betrayed the ideal in betraying Jesus, the rabbinical ideal. He crossed the line.
Yes.
Do you admire that?
No, I do not.
But why not? We all cross the line sometimes, don't we?
We are all capable of crossing the line. Thankfully, we do not all do it.
But really, Capheus the Elder, what's the big deal? You cross a line, so what? Just draw yourself another line, correct?
No, not correct.
Why not?
The line comes from God, doesn't it? The line is given. We do not create it, and thus it is not ours to modify. It is only ours to obey or betray.
No, I see. Capheus the Elder, when Pontius Pilate first arrived in Judea, he visited
Pontius Pilate.
Pontius Pilate, thank you. First arrived in Judah. He visited you in the temple, did he not?
He did.
And as a show of his force and might, Pontius
Pilate.
Pilot. Just Pilot.
Just Pilate. Okay, thanks. Attempted to place symbols of Rome in the temple, which was to your people a great decision, the desecration of your holy place of worship, correct?
Correct.
It would have constituted the worshiping of false idols, yes?
Yes.
Capheus the Elder, when you saw Pontius Pilate attempting this, what did you do?
I told him he must remove the pagan symbols.
And what did Pilate say to that?
I believe the gist of his reply was, what are you going to do about it, Curly?
And what did you do?
I knelt before him.
And begged for mercy?
No.
Groveled for forgiveness?
No. I removed my headdress, bared my throat to him, and bid him slit it.
In other words, Capheus the Elder, you let him kill you, but you did not cross the line.
I guess so, yes.
You did nor cross the line.
No, I did not.
Judas crossed it, though, didn't he?
He did.
Interesting. And by the way, what was the result of your standoff with Pilate regarding the sanctity of the temple?
Pilate backed off.
He didn't put, but he didn't put up the pagan symbol, did he?
No.
You held the line.
Yes.
Your integrity castrated him, didn't it? His little Roman balls rolling down the temple hill like withered purple grapes, yes?
I have no response to that.
As well you shouldn't. Now then, last question, Capheus the Elder. It has been said that in the Western culture, the most prized virtue is honesty. But in Eastern culture, which would include Judea at that time, in Eastern culture, the most prized virtue was and is loyalty. Capheus the Elder, do you agree with said hypothesis?
Counselor, there are 613 sacred laws in our Torah. Complying with these laws, it requires honesty and loyalty. But the most important requirement of the law is obedience to it. That is what is most prized.
Yes, fair enough. But in your opinion, was Judas Iscariot loyal?
Obviously not.
Was he honest?
No.
Capheus the Elder, was Judas Iscariot obedient?
To his own will and desires, yes. I believe that he was.
And to the service that will and those desire. Judas crossed the line, didn't he?
Yeah. He served the necessary purpose, but as a fellow Jew, I confess, he disgusted me.
Capheus the Elder, I thank you, and may I add, you are much more handsome in person than any other than when they portray you on the silver screen.
Aviana rises.
High Priest of the Sanhedrin. That was an extremely powerful and prestigious position in Judea, correct?
Correct.
In fact, except for the Roman governor and King Herod, the high priest was, in actuality, the most powerful position in Judea, was it not?
Yes.
Would you mind looking me in the eye when you respond to a question?
My position was very important. As high priest, I maintained the sacred laws, the safety of the populace, and our tradition.
Caiaphas, is there a reason you won't meet my gaze? Or is ignoring women simply another component of the tradition you were charged to maintain?
Objection, Julius. The witness is not just a holy man, but a very holy man. Defense counsel is aware she is a juicy, pulfricious dish, and yet the witness is or merely avoiding the salacious temptations of her intoxicatingly firm and fervently aromatic flesh. I move to censor her, really.
I withdraw the question.
Sexy vixen, You are warned.
Hey!
Oh, Julius, forgive me. She makes my organs bounce. Yes, sorry. Yes.
Caiaphas, you stated to the prosecution that Judas Iscariot crossed the line and that he disgusted you, correct?
Correct.
Well, then maybe you can help me out here, because I'm a little confused. Judas Iscariot handed Jesus of Nazareth over to you, correct?
Yes.
And then you handed Jesus of Nazareth over to Pontius Pilate, correct?
I did.
So what exactly is the difference between you and Judas Iscariot? Because unless I'm missing something here, I fail to see it.
Between me and Judas, big difference.
Caiaphas, you were a rabbi and a Jew. Jesus was a rabbi and a Jew. It is not crossing the line for one rabbi to hand over another rabbi to be killed by pagans.
Jesus was a blaspheming, seditious rabbi, and I did not know for sure that he would be killed.
But the penalty for sedition was crucifixion, correct?
That was the Roman charge, not mine.
Yes, your charge was blasphemy. And what is the penalty for blasphemy, Caiaphas?
Your Honor, I will not sit here and be blamed for the death of Christ yet again.
No one's blaming you for the death of Christ, Caiaphas. I'm simply asking you a question, which I'm directing you to answer now before this court. You charged Jesus with blasphemy. What was the penalty for blasphemy, Caiaphas?
Stoning, followed by hanging.
So then how can you sit here and pretend that you didn't know for sure that Jesus of Nazareth would be killed?
Jesus could have easily saved himself.
Saved himself how?
By retracting his blasphemous claim. Our Torah has 613 sacred laws. I can't even count how many Jesus broke or treated with wanton disregard and disdain. He broke the laws that came from the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He violated the word of God. He violated the laws of Moses. He consorted with the unclean and women and prostitutes. He performed miracles on the Sabbath. He proclaimed himself Messiah. He forgave sin. Who was he to forgive sin? Only God can do that. If that's not crossing the line, then I don't know what is.
Jesus was fulfilling your Old Testament prophecies of Isaiah to the letter.
He was also fulfilling the prophecies in Deuteronomy, which warned against false messiahs and marvel workers. It would have been one thing had he confined himself to the forest and rivers, sprouting his ravings as Baptists did. But here at the great temple, I would have been derelict not to put a stop to it. He was whipping people, kicking them, threatening to destroy the temple, calling it a den of thieves. If someone did that in your St. Patrick's Cathedral, would you arrest them?
And yet, Judas Iscariot, who came forward in the face of this great threat, is, in your eyes, not a patriot, but a traitor. A traitor who, in your words, disgusted you. Why is that, Caiaphas?
Because he handed Jesus over for money.
And why did you hand Jesus over, Caiaphas?
The words and deeds of Jesus were leading towards rebellion, and the price of rebellion under Roman rule was a bloodbath, a massacre, counselor. So I determined that it were better to have one man dead than 1,000. That's why.
I see. So you were looking out for the common Jewish man. Is that correct?
I was.
Were you a common Jewish man, Caiaphas?
In the eyes of God, we are all the same.
But how about in the eyes of the common Jewish man? You were seen as an aristocrat, weren't you?
I came from wealth.
Would you say that you were popular with the common Jewish man?
My job was a sacred one, not a popularity contest.
The high temple taxes that you inflicted on your people, would you say that made you more popular with the common Jewish man or less popular?
Objection, Your Honor. Vixen is badgering.
Sustained.
The exchange rate at the temple were also extremely unfavorable to the common Jewish man. Jewish man was required by law to be cleansed before being permitted to enter the temple. The purification pools were not free either, were they?
Cunningham. No, I'll answer. The laws were the laws and the rates were the rates.
And did you have a sliding scale for the poor?
No.
So the poor, who constituted a large percentage of the common Jewish man at the time, remained impure and unclean and were denied the right of worship.
You've made your point.
No, I don't think I have. Your position, Caiaphas, did not require you to be popular with the common Jewish man, did it?
My position required me to answer to God.
Did God appoint you high priest of the Sanhedrin?
It was with God's blessing.
It was with Rome's blessing, Caiaphas. You were appointed by Rome. And at the end of the day, for the 18 years you served, that's who you had to answer to. And that's who you were required to be popular with. And the day you showed Rome that you couldn't handle your own people was the day you'd been thrown out on your ass. Isn't that true?
I belonged to God, not Rome. My job was to uphold the 613 sacred laws and to protect my temple and my people, and that's what I did.
And was not Jesus of Nazareth one of your people, Caiaphas? Whether he was a Messiah, a prophet, or a holy man, or a crazy man? Was he not one of your own? And was it not considered the height of treachery to betray Jewish blood to your oppression? To your oppressors? Come on, Caiaphas. Tell us what it did not to prick your conscience to turn Jesus, a fellow Jew, over to the Romans. Tell us that handling over a fellow rabbi to a certain death at the hands of the enemy didn't violate your sense of crossing the line and your knowledge of the law. Tell us, Caiaphas, that at the end of the day, there was a difference in the eyes of God between what you did and what Judas did. This is purgatory, Caiaphas. I've got all day.
In terms of results, no difference.
How about in terms of follow-through? Judas recanted and tried to return the silver, did he not?
He did.
And did you, Caiaphas, do anything at all to try to prevent Jesus' death?
No.
And therein lies the real difference between you and Judas Iscariot, does it not? And yet, you sit here and say how Judas crossed the line and that he was disgusted with you. And if that's true, Caiaphas, then I wonder how you must have felt about yourself.
That's between me and God.
Well, then for your sake, Caiaphas, I sure hope that your God has more forward-thinking attitude than Judas's God does. Step down. You're excused.
Tyler.
We're on 57?
Page 54, top of the page, fourth line down.
Good, Cappius, the elder. I was only trying to...
Back up a little, pal.
Oh, okay. Sorry, this is... Why did we start this so late? Cappius, the elder, Judas approached you, correct?
Yes.
He didn't have to approach you, Cappius, the elder, did he?
No.
Ah, yes, he did.
Yes.
Of his own free will.
Yes.
And accepted payment for his betrayal.
Yes.
Payment. Judas did not say, Cappius the elder, put your money away, mister. This one's on the arm, right?
Right.
Cappius the elder, I think we all realize the precarious position you were in trying to protect your citizens from Roman reprisal.
And it makes you feel good to say that, doesn't it? After 2,000 years of persecution and vilification, you finally get around to saying, hey, we know it wasn't you and your people's fault. Is that it?
Good, Cappius the Elder. I was only trying to
Win your case, right? I'll tell you what. You people call me, I come. You question, I answer. But please, never say that you realize the position I was in, because you have no idea the position I was in. And never try to excuse or forgive me, because I'm not interested in your forgiveness. God's forgiveness, that interests me. Yours, I could care less. Why? Because you have no idea. The people who need forgiving, the people who perpetuated the lies and exaggerations that became sacrosanct fact and led to hatred and violence for the past 2,000 years. They are the ones who need forgiving, and not by you, but by me and my people. It's the writers of the gospel who need forgiveness, not me. No, sir. I know what it is to suffer. Do you? I don't think so. Julius, my best to Frank.
You're very handsome, Cappius.
If I am, it's because God made me, not because you said so. Good day.
And Caphius ambles off wearily. Gavel bangs. Crossfade 2.
My name is Thomas. At the Last Supper, I was the first one to say I would die for Jesus. I was also the first one to head for the hills doing 90 when the Romans came and arrested him. And then when Jesus resurrected himself, I was the guy who said I wouldn't believe he was who he said he was unless I could see with my own eyes the holes in his hands and personally inspect them and touch them. As if I was some qualified medical examiner, like I was Quincy or something. But the thing of it was, Jesus showed them to me. And not only that, he let me touch them. In a ministry based entirely on the virtues of faith, he gave me proof. I had no faith, and he gave it to me for free. I don't know why I got the benefit of his doubt, and Judas didn't get help with this. And I'm not saying this because I like the guy, because personally, I thought Judas was a bit of a jerk-off. Actually, fucking dick would be more accurate. Judas was the kind of guy, at least with me, where 1 minute he's your friend, and the next minute he's making fun of you in front of everybody. He used to like to say that the reason Judas had to do the miracle on with the loaves and the fishes was because I ate all the food when nobody was looking, stuff like that. But then other times he could be real nice. Like once we were partnered to go together into town to heal people and, you know, cast out demons. And well, I had some problems that day. Everyone I tried to heal ended up getting worse. In fact, this one lady, I almost blinded, and another guy started going into convulsions. But Judas fixed it. He healed them. He really did. And that tells me his faith was genuine. And when we got back to camp that night, he didn't tell anybody how I messed up. In fact, he said I did a good job, and I appreciated that. I knew Jesus knew it was bullshit, but I appreciated the gesture. I thought it showed a largeness, you know, on Judas's part. And the thing is, Judas was kind of a dick, but he wasn't shallow or petty. He really was pretty large. He wasn't the best, but he was far from the worst. Jesus liked him a lot. In fact, Judas was right up there in the top 3 with Mary Magdalene and Pete, who, by the way, could also be a dick sometimes too. The trick with Peter was never talk about fish. The guy was crazy for fish. Say something wrong about a fish and forget about it. The guy would go crazy. Anyways, some people say Judas did what he did because he was greedy. Personally, I think that's bullshit. The guy wasn't wandering around the desert for 3 years with Jesus and a bunch of ragamuffins like us because he was looking to get rich. Other people say the devil got into him. Again, bullshit. Judas was loyal to a fault, obsessively loyal even. Judas would have taken on the devil and his entire fucking army, one against 1,000 if he had to. And he would have done it with relish. Other people say Judas did it because he knew the ship was sinking and he was trying to get back a nut to, to have something to fall back on. Listen, Judas was not a fall back guy. He was 100% fall forward. And to me, that deserves some consideration. I was not a fall forward, not by a long shot. And neither were most of the others. Yeah, Judas was a dick, but he deserved better. Just one saint's opinion.
Next witness.
Your Honor, at this time, defense would like to introduce Exhibit A-14, ancient surveillance footage of an event that occurred less than 24 hours after Jesus' arrest. Lights, please.
Squad room in Jerusalem.
Pilate is gonna kick your ass.
Pilate gonna
Pilate
that ass.
gonna
He's gonna kick it 2 times.
Oh, so I'm 3. Yo, when Pilate see this motherfucker's ass, he gonna be like, Centurion, time to whoop your ass.
He gonna rape your wife.
He gonna take your cattle.
He gonna kick your cattle's ass too.
And your sheep and your lambs.
Pilate gonna cancel your grandmother's WIC check, B.
Pilate enters.
What's all this damn ruckus about?
Oh, hell,
hell,
Pontius
Pilate.
Pilate.
Hell.
Hell.
Is there a problem here?
Nah, Judas is trying to recant.
Hey, hold up a minute. Who?
Judas Iscariot from the Jesus of Nazareth crew.
This stinky motherfucker right here.
He's just an innocent man. Please.
Should we start whipping his ass now?
He's innocent. Please. Jesus is innocent.
Oh, come on now, Judas. Them saying who said. Hold up a second. Yo, Kurt, what they call themselves?
Sanhedrin, sir.
Right. Judas, them Sanhedsons paid you 30 pieces of silver. Now that's 4 months' wages. That ain't no chicken feed.
I made a mistake. Please, you don't understand, man.
Oh, I understand perfectly. You sold out your brother. Now you feel guilty. So you trying to come in here talking about it was dark and I kissed the wrong motherfucker. But we Romans, man. Romans don't dance that song.
I'm recanting.
You can't recant. Hey, fellas, you remember the last semi strolled up in here talking about I recant? Believe me, J. Crew, you don't want to do that. What you need to do is relax, brother. Take the wifey to a puppet show, something, well, this ain't nothing but a little PR opportunity before the holidays, that's all.
But he's innocent. Please.
Hey, now, listen, Judas, we don't give no good goddamn about this Jesus. He just a motherfucker talks a lot of shit. Everybody talks shit. Even I've been known to talk a little shit on the once in a while. The thing is, we ain't trying to lay down no heavy charge on that Nazareth boy. We just gonna beat down his ass a little, make him a Sanhedrin, call it happy, so as we can all live in peace. I mean, don't you want to live in peace, Judas? Ain't that what it's all about?
Yeah.
Okay, then. I mean, after all, brother, ain't like we looking to crucify the motherfucker.
Defense calls Pontius Pilate.
I object.
On what grounds?
On the grounds that it is objectionable.
Overruled.
But, Your Holiness, really, it is objectionable. I sense it, although I cannot put it into words.
Overruled. Name?
Pontius Pilate.
Pontius Pilate?
That's right, baby.
But are you a licensed pilot?
Oh, sit down, Alfayumi.
Pontius Pilate, Judas Iscariot came down to your tent to recant his testimony, correct?
On the advice of counsel, I cite my right to plead the Fifth Amendment.
You then told Judas Iscariot that Jesus was only going to receive a beatdown, correct?
On the advice of counsel, I cite my right to plead the Fifth Amendment.
You bear responsibility for the death of Jesus Christ, not Judas Iscariot, but you. Isn't that correct, Pontius Pilate?
On the advice of counsel, blah, blah, blah. Your Honor, I got a 2 p.m. tea time. Can I go now?
This won't take long, Pontius.
Judas came to your office and begged you on bended knee to take the money and release Jesus, and you refused him. Judas recanted. He tried to return the money, first to the Sanhedrin and then to you. Do you deny that?
Hey, if I'd messed that up as bad as that cat had, I would have tried to rebate them ducats too.
So you admit that Judas did try?
No, I do not admit that he tried. Did you hear me admit that?
We all know what happened, Pilate. We just saw the tape.
Oh, ain't nothing on that so-called tape implicates me of anything but trying to find a peacefully non-lethal solution to a potentially incendiary problem.
Right. Mr. Pilate, you were the 5th prefect of Judea, correct?
Correct.
A prefect being what?
Governor, also named as a procurator. You know, my official title was hegemon.
Hegemon?
Translated from the Greek, it means excellency.
I see. And you governed or procurated over Judea from 26 to 36 AD, correct?
Longest 10 years of my life.
Why do you say that?
You ever been to Judea, Missy? It ain't Paris, France, believe that.
I see.
Yeah. And Moses must have read the map backwards, you know, misplaced his bifocals or something, because if that was the promised land, shit, them Jews should have held out for a better promise.
You didn't care for Judea much.
Care for it? Armpit of the empire, you ask me. No atmosphere, nothing. Hot, dirty, dusty, flies everywhere. Complete lack of culture and amusements. I'd rather spend 10 years up inside the crack of my ass. But Augustus ordered me to keep the peace there, so I obeyed my emperor, did my duty.
And kept the peace.
The Pax Romana, baby. The prime directive, that's right.
And under your rule, how was the peace kept in Judea, Mr. Pilate?
By any means necessary.
Violently?
Violently or otherwise, they was free to have it any ways they wanted.
According to the Philo of Alexandria, who wrote about you in 41 CE, your tenure as governor of Rome was known for its constantly repeated executions without trial, wanton injustices, graft, ceaseless grievances, and grievous cruelty. Care to comment?
No, I do not.
During your reign as procurator in Jerusalem, how many deaths did you order?
A lot. Don't apologize for it either. Them Jews was rowdy.
Rowdy?
That's right. Rowdy. As in not docile. As in a motherfucker had to put his foot down.
And you put your foot down, didn't you?
Damn Skippy, I did. Orders from Rome. What's a brother to do?
During your tenure in Judea, how many crucifixions would you say you ordered?
A lot less than my predecessor. That's for damn sure. That motherfucker will crucify a Semite for yelling fire at a barbecue. Man will go buck wild from jump. Me? I reduced crucifixions in Palestine by 70%. And now, that's documented.
Well, that's lovely, Mr. Pilot. But I'll direct you now to answer the question posed to you.
What was that?
How many crucifixions did you preside over during your time in Jerusalem?
I'd say few hundred, give or take. So what?
Over 700 crucifixions while you were on assignment in Judea. Does that sound about right?
Sound good to me? Sure.
And you publicly washed your hands of how many of them, Mr. Pilot?
Well, I don't know what you mean by that.
I mean that other than Jesus of Nazareth, out of over 700 crucifixions and countless executions, did you ever, in any other instance, publicly wash your hands and attempt to abdicate responsibility for your actions, Mr. Pilot?
I don't recall.
You backpedaled because you knew it was wrong, didn't you?
Romans don't have backpedals.
You knew Jesus was a holy man or a fool. But whatever he was, you believed him when he said that his kingdom wasn't on earth, didn't you?
Oh, see now, I don't recall that conversation.
You don't recall that conversation? You know what, Mr. Pilot? Why don't you say that again so I can slap a perjury charge on you? You ordered the death of Christ. You and you alone. And then you pawned it off on Jesus' reticence and Judas's impetuousness and the politics of the Sanhedrin and the rowdiness of the Jewish people. Is that the case, Pontius Pilate? Yes or no?
You can go on squawking if you want to. My conscience is clean. What you need to do is take it up with them Jews.
Mr. Pilate, were the high priests of Jerusalem authorized to order a death sentence?
No, they were not.
Was King Herod authorized to issue a death sentence?
No, he was not.
How about the Jewish people themselves? Were they free to issue death sentences at their whim and fancy?
No.
One man, Mr. Pilate. In all of Judea, one man alone had the authority to put another man to death. Who was that man, Mr. Pilate?
Look, am I on trial here? Because last time I checked, he was your client, Judas Iscariot, freezing his narrow ass off in the ninth circle of hell, not me.
My client recanted with a remorseful heart and was ignored.
Well, then you need to take that up with them Jews, not me. I mean, this ain't some new theory I'm introducing to you. It's documented. Ain't no Sherlock Holmes, Nancy Drew mystery here, lady. Them Jews was cantankerous, ornery. They worshipped a jealous, angry, and vengeful God. And guess what? Surprise, surprise. They was angry, jealous, and vengeful themselves. Now, I never had a problem in Judea wasn't caused by some rabble-rousing, no-account Jew. Believe me, sister, you need to talk to them, not me.
It's always the Jews, Mr. Pilate, isn't it?
Well, it sure as shit was in Judea, missy.
You know what I really think, Mr. Pilate? I think this whole story about you hemming and hawing about what to do with Jesus is just a load of made-up crap written by Jewish Christian evangelists seeking to broaden the appeal of the Jesus story to the Roman Empire. There is nothing that we know about you, Mr. Pilate, absolutely nothing, that suggests for even a second that you would have seen a passing hesitation about putting any Jew to death, let alone a revolutionary figure like Jesus, who was being proclaimed the Messiah, who had entered the city of Jerusalem to crowds of cheering supporters, and who at the very next day incited a riot at the temple. You hated your assignment. You hated Judea. And Mr. Pilate, you hated Jews. Hated them. You hated the Jews because they contested you. You hated them because they fought back. You hated them because they clung to their religious beliefs and were willing to die for them. But most of all, I think you hated them because you knew they were stronger than you. I think that bothered you a great deal. I think, Mr. Pilate, that it made you resentful and vengeful and furious. I think it made you feel small and inadequate. I think it gave you skin irritations and nervous tics. I think it kept you up at night and made you count the days until you could return to the safe, bourgeois comfort of Rome. That's what I think. I think you're hiding behind your historical inaccuracies and outright lies, Mr. Pilate. I think you're a liar and a fraud. I think that when Jesus was put before you, you did not see a God or a prophet. You did not see a lunatic or an innocent. You didn't even see a human being. I think, Mr. Pilate, that what you saw before you that morning was just one more Jew. And you didn't hesitate. Why would you? You didn't wash your hands, Pontius Pilate. History did it for you. Isn't that true?
I think I've had enough here.
If you were a man, Pilate, you'd own up to the truth.
The truth? Whose truth you talking about, Red? The truth is I was made a saint in the Ethiopian church. The truth is I was named a martyr for the Christian church in 348 AD. That's the damn truth.
A Christian martyr?
Did I stutter, girlie?
Well, I guess that's what they mean about history being a lie agreed to.
A lie? What you know about what's a lie and what's the truth? What you know about my history? All you got to go on is some book written 4 different ways by 4 different Jews wasn't even there in the first place. And what you know about my life after Palestine? What you know about what I might have did or didn't do when I got back home to the motherland? That's right. You don't know jack, do you? They didn't write down that part of the story, did they? Shit. I'm gonna tell you something. You and your presumptuous nature reminds me more and more of my ex-wife Rhonda every minute. And believe me, that ain't no compliment. Yes, I met that Jesus boy. Seemed like a fine fella. He dressed like a hobo and smelled like a goat, but give the boy a shave and a shower and he would have been basically all right. You know, I'll tell you something else. Unlike Judas, that Nazarene boy had character. He didn't come up on me begging and groveling, crying like a bitch. He faced me like a man, like a Roman almost, and that impressed me. I was willing to just have him be clubbed in his head for a couple of hours, redirect his youthful energies. But them Jews, well, they wasn't having none of that. You can say what you want to, think what you want to, but them Jews was fixing to pitch a fit until that boy was served up for lunch like chicken in a skillet. And they had a number on us that weekend. 200,000 strong converging on the city for their high holidays and ready to rumble at the drop. I did what I had to do to preserve the damn peace. Why? Because that was my damn job. I did my job. I did my damn job, and now you want to call me a liar? Question my veracity and my character. I am a Roman lady, 100%, 24/7, we never close. Underneath my ball sack is stamped Veritas, and that means truth. And that means my honor is defined by my integrity, and my integrity is defined by my truth. And I defy you here and now to produce one shred of evidence to support your wild and defamatory claims. Shit! You better check the resume 2 times before you start trying to sweep your dirt under a Roman's rug. I clean like Dove and ready for love, missy. I live in heaven. Where you live at, girlfriend? Shit, I'll tell you what though. When you get your head straightened out, give me a call sometime if you want to. I'll take you down to the aqueduct for a pizza and a tussle. Show you my tattoos. Any more questions?
I think, Mr. Pilot, that you've told us all we need to know.
Okay then. I'm gonna roll out now, boo. Work on my short game.
Witness is excused.
Hail Caesar, baby.
Your Excellency, hegemon. Just one question, if I may.
What's that?
Yes, I wonder if you would tell the court, Hedge, the following. If indeed Judas Iscariot came to your tent to recant, and I'm not saying he did or didn't, and by the way, the only gospel that says anything at all about Judas recanting is Matthew, so it's 3 against 1, and the one in question was not only a Greek, but a drunken Greek and a card cheat. But anyway, please tell us now, if you will, please, good sir Hedge, when Judas came to your tent to allegedly recant, if in fact he did, which I am in no way seeking confirmation of herewith, however, if by chance the gin-soaked Greek was miraculously correct, and Judas did in fact attempt to recant and return the tarnished silver, tell us please, and this is very important, Hedge, did you get the sense or impression that Judas was recanting out of a genuine remorse and concern for Jesus? Or do you think he was seeking to undo the damage out of a neck-saving fear of the dire consequences and everlasting repercussions of betraying our rightful and most exalted and just Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the divine Son of Man?
I am a man, and defense counsel may dispute this, who happens to know something about remorse, personal and otherwise. Now, in my day, I stared into the eyes of perhaps 10,000 accused men and sat in judgment of them. I spared a few and executed plenty. I sent people to face the whip, the cell, the gallows, and the cross. And I sent a few home as well. Remorse is rare, but when you see it, it is unmistakable. Judas Iscariot had no remorse. His fear left no room for it. His fear was 100% ego-driven and self-serving, 100% panic, 0% remorse. If you believe nothing else, believe that.
Hedge, thank you. Thank you indeed.
Next witness.
Your Honor, defense reconjures Satan. Your Honor, defense reconjures Satan to the stand.
Boo, you can come in now. Bailiff, go fetch him. Go fetch Satan.
Alone.
Go. You go. Ah. Have a seat, Lou.
You're on mute, Harley.
There you go. Go. Have a seat, Lou.
I'm not on mute.
No, now you're not.
Now you're good. Now you're good.
Oh, I'm sorry. But you know, nonetheless, I want to file a formal fucking complaint, Frank.
Aw, this ain't about the turkey roll in the cafeteria again now, is it, Lou?
No, Frank. This is not about the turkey roll in the cafeteria. What this is about, Frank, is I recognized a couple of your court officers at the vending machines, okay? Ask me how I recognize them, Frank.
Lou!
No! Don't you fucking Lou me, you little fag. God's been fucking stealing souls again, hasn't he?
El Fayumi, escort the jury out.
Yes, right this way, please.
And you, Honeywell, you're on my fucking list. Hayseed, so don't expect any last-second reprieves, shorts and tank tops. Stretch. Pink. Pack light. Stretch. Pack light.
This is unacceptable behavior, Lou.
Don't tell me what's unacceptable. Those court officers were mine, Frank. Their souls in hell, safe and sound. What I don't get enough to contend with. Now I gotta deal with God cruising the barnyards of hell, poaching condemned poultry like mine, like some kind of silver fox-tailed thief in the fucking ninth. This is bullshit, Frank, and you know it. And I'm not leaving here this time without my satisfaction. So you better do something about it right fucking now.
Do something like what?
Number one, I'm not testifying at any more of these circle jerks no more. I'm not some wind-up doll to be summoned and dismissed like a fucking toy. Number two, I want 2 souls before I leave here today. So take a memo and pass it on upstairs. I'll take you and whoever.
Me?
Yeah, you. I should have claimed you off the dung heap after Lee's surrender. And I want some Darvon and a tall bourbon, neat. What the fuck are you looking at?
I'd like to stop my questioning.
Why? You got someplace to go, dish rag?
No. When you're done crying, just let me know.
I'm sorry. Maybe you can clear this up for me, but is today fuck with someone who can rip your heart out through your miserable dried up cunt day? Is that what day it is? Because unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure that today is not that day.
Today is your day to answer my questions. When you're through behaving like a petulant child, that is.
Cunningham, I am directing you to hit the off switch on them flapping gums of yours until further notice. And you, Lou, with all the due respect in your stature and station, could you cut me a break here, please?
Frank, I've always been good to you.
And I to you. Is that not so? Now listen, your complaint is duly noted and will be kicked upstairs at the conclusion of today's testimony, okay? Now I need to call the damn jury back in here. And what I need to know from both of yous is that when I move to do so, you two will conduct yourselves with the deportment in adjustment to the solemnity of these proceedings. Now, can I have your words on that?
I'm ready to proceed, Your Honor.
With civility?
If I'm met with civility.
You know what, Cunningham? All those excuses you got wedged between that dubious cleavage of yours. You're your mother. The bulimia, the herpes, the booze, the abortions, the rape, the bipolar pharmaceutical adventures, the twin suicide attempts, and the abject failures in every relationship you ever attempted. All those things do nothing to band-aid the simple fact that there comes a time when the world stops rewarding potential, and when that time came for you, you threw yourself the world's biggest pity party and dedicated the rest of your short, pathetic, inconsequential life to finding fault everywhere fucking else but in the return gaze of your own cosmetically altered reflection, okay?
Satan, please, you are perhaps out of bounds here.
El Fayatumi, on a good day, your cock measures 3.5 inches erect, and it goes off on a hair trigger if you so much as sneeze. Worse than that, you're a flatterer, and your love of God is utterly false, as is your hair color. And the sole reason you're so hot for this nasty train wreck over here is because you're addicted to tragedy and punishment. Not because you think you're a piece of shit, but because, El Fayumi, the truth is, your self-diagnosis is correct. You're a big bag of hot air and a weakling, and will never, ever be loved. You'll never be loved either, Cunningham, and that's because you're incapable of giving it. But you already knew that about yourself, didn't you? You can bring in the jury now, Frank. Never let it be said that the Prince of Lies stood in the way of truth.
No more outbursts.
I'm a Buddha floating on a lily pad.
Fayumi, bring him on in.
Sir. Yes, sir. Take your seats, please. Do not tarry.
Counselor, you may begin.
Mr. Satan.
I apologize for my earlier behavior, Counselor. I had some bad fish at lunch.
Mr. Satan, you've had a long-standing feud with God, correct?
No, I love God.
You love God?
Very much. God made me.
Okay, you say God made you.
God did make me. It says so in the Bible.
I know about the Bible, Mr. Satan. It also says in the Bible, in Matthew, I believe, in Matthew, it says, a good tree cannot bear bad fruit, correct?
Correct.
So that, are you saying that you're good, or are you saying that God is bad?
I don't know. Are you good, Counselor?
I'm going to back up a little bit. So then, are you telling this court that you're good?
I would never say that God is bad.
All right. So then, are you telling this court that you're good?
There you go.
I don't know. Are you good, Counselor?
That's not what I asked you.
I'm sorry.
Just answer the question.
I don't believe in good and bad. What I believe in is truth.
Fine. According to Job and Nehemiah, God created you in the first 3 days. True?
True.
You were an angel.
True.
You were present when God created earth.
True.
Then God created man and gave him, not you, dominion over the earth. True?
True.
You were, in fact, ordered by God to serve man. True?
True.
According to Genesis and Ezekiel, you then tempted Eve to eat the apple in order to prove to God that he had made an error in giving man dominion over the earth. At which point, according to Luke, you then fell from heaven like lightning and became God's adversary. And ever since that day, you have competed for souls with God in order to try to prove the point that man is not worthy to rule over the earth. Isn't that true, Mr. Satan?
I don't compete with God. God competes with himself.
That's not what I asked you.
I'm trying to answer your question.
No, you're not trying to answer. No, you are not trying to answer my question.
Your Honor, I'm trying to form a response here.
Let him answer, Cunningham.
Your Honor, it does seem to me.
Quiet. Proceed.
Thank you. Look, I didn't make you people. God did, okay? But there was a design flaw in the creation. He gave you free will. And to balance that out, you were designed to self-correct. But unlike the free will muscle, the self-correct muscle is not a particular favorite of the Homo sapiens. I'd say self-correct falls somewhere between colonoscopy and firing squad on most people's holiday wish lists. At any rate, the truth is, I don't have to actively compete for human souls. I don't have to lull or flatter or tempt or deceive, because with God at the helm and you people running around wreaking havoc, I'll be honest, I spend most of my time on a sofa watching 1-hour dramas on HBO.
And what? Getting tossed out of heaven? That didn't bother you at all?
There's a concept, Cunningham, called playing the cards you are dealt. One can either accept that concept, or one can slowly lose their mind, heart, and soul. I'd like to be more helpful to you here, but really, that's what it comes down to.
That's so.
I'm just a fallen angel trying to keep my dick hard in a monotheistic society. Anything else you want to ask?
Your Honor, this witness is clearly lying. I move that his entire testimony to be struck from the record.
I'll not allow that. Sorry. You conjured him. What comes out of his mouth is your responsibility.
But he's obviously lying.
You want to expand your consciousness, counselor?
Your Honor.
Unless you have another question, Cunningham, I suggest you step down.
But...
Now.
But...
Forward or back, you've been instructed. Now what'll it be?
Why do you love God, Mr. Satan?
What's not to love?
Specifically, Mr. Satan, what specifically do you love about God?
I don't know where to begin.
Pick a spot.
I love God because he is all-powerful and all-forgiving. I love God because his justice is perfect. I love God because God loves me.
God loves you.
Very much. Gift basket at Christmas time, Hallmark wreath on all the major holidays.
Stop it. If God loves you, then why did he throw you out of his kingdom?
He didn't throw me out. I left.
That's not what it says in the Bible.
Yeah, they fudged that part. You're right. But that's because you people really only respond to fear and threat. If they told you straight up that there was no lock to the gates of heaven, then you'd have no incentive at all to even try to be halfway decent.
In other words, God lied.
God didn't write the Bible. You do know that, right?
Of course I know that.
Then why would you say that God lied?
Mr. Satan, does God love Judas Iscariot? Yes or no?
God loves everybody.
And yet Judas Iscariot is in hell. So what use is God's love to Judas if my client is allowed to languish in damnation?
Your client is free to leave whenever he wants to. In fact, I wish he would. I could use the room.
That's not true, and you know it.
Look, maybe you should sit down and catch your breath.
The real truth is that God's love for us is conditional. Isn't that right? You failed to meet God's conditions, and he threw you into the trash. Judas failed, and he's in a catatonic stupor.
Your client succumbed to despair.
Yes, and if human despair is so powerful as to render God powerless over it, then what does that say about God? It says one of two things, Mr. Satan. Either God's not all-powerful and therefore useless, or God's love is conditional, which renders that love false and unworthy. Which one is it?
Cunningham, please don't take this personally, but your father never really loved you or wanted you, right? And the only reason your mother didn't abort you was because she was afraid of scarring. I think she told you that once, didn't she?
Mr. Satan.
Just because your parents resented you doesn't mean that God does.
Mr. Satan, I asked you a direct question and I'm demanding from you a direct answer.
The direct answer is that you are completely wrong.
Is God powerless or spiteful? I'm ordering you to answer.
You're powerless and spiteful. Cunningham, not God.
Your Honor, he's not answering.
What do you want me to do about it?
But he's not answering.
Open your heart to God, Cunningham.
Shut up. Your Honor.
I suggest you step down, Cunningham.
Finished.
Then finish.
But Your Honor, this isn't fair.
It is what it is, Cunningham.
Your Honor.
Cunningham?
Your Honor.
What, Cunningham? What?
You're a fucking liar.
I'm truly sorry you feel that way.
Nothing further.
El Fayemi, cross?
No cross. No.
You're excused.
Thanks, Frank. Counselors, you availed yourself as expected. And by the way, El Fahumi, you're completely wrong too. I'll be in touch.
Next witness.
Blackout, a beat. Jesus makes his way to Judas and he speaks to us.
Right now, I am in Fallujah. I am in Darfur. I am on 63rd and Park, having dinner with Ellen Barkin and Ron Perlman. Right now, I'm on Lafayette and Astor, waiting to hit you up for change so I can get high. I'm taking a walk through the Rose Garden with George Bush. I'm helping Donald Rumsfeld get a good night's sleep. I was in that cave with Osama and on that plane with Mohammed Atta. And what I want you to know is that your work has barely begun. And what I want you to trust is the efficacy of divine love if practiced consciously. And what I need you to believe is that if you hate who I love, that you do not know me at all. And make no mistake, who I love is every last one. I am every last one. People ask of me, where are you? Where are you? Verily, I ask of you to ask yourself, where are you? Where are you? Judas. Judas!
Who's that?
Is it ever anybody else, Judas? I miss you.
Uh-huh.
I miss you, Judas.
Don't fucking touch me.
Judas.
I said, take your fucking hands off of me. Take them off.
I'm sorry.
Just back off my grill, man. Back off.
I'm sorry.
Back off more.
I'm sorry. Judas. If 1,000 strangers spit on me and kick me as they pass, I will smile. But if the brother of my heart gives me only a passing hard look, then Judas, I will not sleep that night, nor sleep at all, till he will let me love him again.
No.
No what?
No more fucking fortune cookies, that's what. You want to say something? I can't stop you. You want to apologize? Fine, apologize. And go. Just for once, speak like a normal fucking person.
I'm not a normal person, Judas, and I'm not here to apologize. I am who I am and not what you demand me to be. I'm always going to be who I am and what I am. And when have you ever heard me deliver my message any differently, Judas? When?
Just go away.
I won't go away.
Oh, that'd be a first.
I have never gone away, Judas. Look at me. I love you, Judas. All I want is to be not just near you, but with you.
Should have thought of that before.
Before what?
Just get the fuck out of here, okay?
Judas.
Don't fucking Judas me. You're not wanted here, okay? Mr. fucking above it all.
I'm not above it all. I'm right here in it. Don't you see that?
And don't you get that I don't fucking care?
You think your suffering is a one-way street? It's not. It's the exact opposite of not.
You've got a lot of fucking nerve.
And you've got no nerve at all. Where's your heart in all this, Judas? You think you were with me for any other reason than that? It was your heart, Judas. You were all heart. You were my heart. Don't you know that?
I'll tell you what I know. I watched you trip over your own dusty feet to heal the sick, the blind, the lame, the unclean. Any two-bit stranger stubbed their fucking toe. Some lowly, distant relative too cheap to buy enough wine for his own fucking wedding suddenly runs out of booze. No problem. You just presto changeo. And it was fucking Miller time and old Canaan again, wasn't it, bro? But then I fucking needed you. Where the fuck were you, huh?
Judas.
You forgave Peter and bullshit Thomas. You knocked Paul of Tarsus off a horse. You raised Lazarus from the fucking dead, but me, your heart. What about me? What about me, Jesus, huh? You just, I made a mistake. And if that was wrong, then you should have told me. And if a broken heart wasn't sufficient reason to hang, then you should have told me that too.
Don't you think that if I knew it would have changed your mind, that I would have?
All I know is that you broke me unfixable and that I'm here. And you want to know when you delivered your message differently. At the temple, Jesus, that's when. And you were beautiful there. And you left there 3 inches taller, and we all saw it. I loved you. That's all I did. And that's the truth. And now I'm here.
Judas, what if I were to tell you that you are not here, that you are with me in my kingdom even now, and that you have been there since the morning of my ascension, and that you have never left?
That's what I think about you.
I love you, Judas. I love you.
Just stop.
Don't you see me here, Judas?
I see a lot of things.
You see a lot of things.
That's right.
How about him? Do you see him? Do you know
Satan
him?
appears.
Call on to him. Touch him. He is not there, because he does not exist, Judas. Rather, they must conjure him, and still he is but a vapor blown away by a hummingbird's breath. He is false. He is a lie. He is not real. Touch him. Go ahead.
I don't want to touch him.
Stand up, Judas.
You know I can't do that.
No. What I know is that you can.
Get the fuck over yourself.
Will you feed my lambs, Judas? Will you take care of my little sheep? Will you feed my lambs?
Feed your lambs.
You know exactly what I'm asking you.
Go away.
If you don't love me, Judas, then you're going to have to look me in my eyes and say it.
I don't love you.
If you don't love me, then why are you here?
Go.
Judas. Judas, don't you know what would happen the very instant you got down on your knees?
Why on my knees? They should have buried me standing up, because I've been on my knees my whole life. You left me.
I'm right here.
I would have never believed that you could have left me,
I never left you.
that you didn't love me.
I do love you.
Why didn't you make me good enough so that you could have loved me?
Please take my hands, Judas. Please.
Where are they?
Right here.
I can't see them.
They're right here.
Where are you going?
I'm right here.
Don't leave me.
I'm here.
I can't hurt.
I love you, Judas.
I can't.
Please stay.
I can't hurt.
Please love me, Judas.
I can't.
Judas is frozen again. A long beat. Butch Honeywell enters Judas's lair with a 12-pack of Canadian beer. Butch looks around, clears his throat, takes off his cap.
Mr. Iscariot, Mrs. Iscariot, I don't know if you can hear me, but I just wanted to introduce myself, if I could. I'm Butch Honeywell. I was foreman in the jury at your trial there, and well, we found you guilty, Mr. Iscariot. I'm real sorry about that. Oh, I brought you a 12-pack of beer. Actually, I guess it's a 5-pack now, but anyway, here. I don't know if you drink beer, but it's good stuff anyways. I'll just set it down beside you right here. Okay, then? So I think I'm dead, Mr. Iscariot, and I'm a little concerned about that because I don't think my soul's ready for judgment. But nobody else has so far corroborated that I'm dead, so I just don't bring it up. But the fact is, if this is a dream, this is the longest damn dream I ever endured, and really, I just missed my wife, Mr. Iscariot. Is it okay if I tell you that? See, I remember I was with those two girls that night when I first seen my wife, Mr. Iscariot. It was a party at Jimmy Raven's house because Jimmy's mama worked till midnight, so he had the house to himself. And you know, me and these two girls, Susie Heller and Della Mae Robbins, we were just talking, smoking cigarettes out on Mrs. Rayburn's deck, away from the party. I was depressed over something or other, probably because school was ending. Plus, I had this lead in the school play. I played Tom in The Glass Menagerie. It was my first time I ever acted, and everyone said I was real good. Now the play was over, and the school was almost over, and for a part in the play, they had given me this real short haircut, like 1940 style, and my ears, you know, Mr. Iscariot, I don't know if you can notice, but they stick out a little bit. So with the short haircut and all, I was feeling a little self-conscious and dumb, and anyway, I was not too cheery. So anyways, I'm out there on the deck talking to Susie and Della. All of a sudden, I see this girl inside the party. She had, I guess she arrived. She had on a red jacket, and it was like the cheerleading jacket from the high school just across the state line in Virginia, the Red Raiders. And I remember all I saw was blonde hair and a red jacket, and this smile that was, and even from a distance, just kind of electrifying to the heart, you know? About a minute later, the sliding door to the deck opens up, and this girl comes out by herself, and she's heading towards us. Turns out she's friends with Della from back in the day from, well, I don't know, Girl Scouts, Brownies, something like that. Anyways, she walks over, and she was so beautiful, and I remember thinking to myself, and this is exactly word for word what I thought, I ain't even gonna bother talking to this girl. So she come over and says hello, and I just excuse myself, and I go right off the deck and head back inside, fixing to say goodbyes and skedaddle. Anyways, I tried to leave, but then Jimmy handed me a beer, and somebody else started passing on a bottle of Rebel Yell, and before you know it, you know, bong hits and whatnot. Anyways, a little later, I'm sitting on the couch with this girl, my future wife, and she comes up to me and by myself, and she says, I saw you in the play and the other night, and you made me cry. 2 days later, we went out on a date. On the way back, I was driving her home, and we passed this house where my friend Dave Hodge used to live, but I died. I hadn't seen his house since he passed. The family didn't live there anymore, but when I saw the house, I got stuck with this feeling, and I asked her if we could mind pulling over in front of the house and just sit for a moment. She said, sure. So I parked it, and we just sat there for a while, quiet, not saying nothing. And before I knew it, Mr. Iscariot, I was tearing up because this kid, he had been a real good friend of mine, you know, and then I just started crying, Mr. Iscariot. I couldn't help myself. I couldn't shut it off. And I was real embarrassed. And she, oh, she just held me while tears and snot and whatnot poured on and on her little white sweater. And she didn't mind about that. She didn't mind at all. At some point, I drove her home, and we got to her door, and we started to kiss. And, well, God, it was like, well, I'll tell you, it was like peaches and dynamite. And before I left, I apologized to her about crying and all, and she said, don't be a jackass, Butch Honeywell. So I smiled, and I went on to explain my meaning, which was, you know, if you want a girl to think you're sensitive or something, then maybe taking her to a house of your dead friend and crying all over that pretty white sweater might be a good idea to pull it off. And you know what she said, Mr. Iscariot? She looked at me for a good long while with them all the way dazzling eyes of hers, and she just said, well, if it was a trick, then I'm tricked. 3 years into our marriage, I took a job teaching at the state college. I was popular with the students because I found a way to make them want to learn. One night at the end of the semester, it took me out for beers. I ended up having an assignation with one of the co-eds, a young lady named Lucy. And I went home that night and got into bed next to my wife, drunk as a skunk. And I remember before I passed out, I looked at her. I always liked to look at her when she was sleeping because she always looked so good. I had a little nickname for her. I used to call her my little baby dinosaur because that's how she looked when she slept. Like one of those cute little cartoon baby dinosaurs, like a brontosaurus. But cute. Anyways, I woke up the next morning. She was still sleeping. And what I had done the night before came back to me, and I looked at my wife, and she looked exactly the same as always, but somehow she just wasn't my little baby dinosaur no more, you know. She woke up and she didn't know nothing about nothing, and everything was exactly the same as if the night before had never happened, except it wasn't the same. And I knew it. And I had no idea what I had done, but I had done it. And it couldn't be changed. My girl, she got up and fixed blueberry French toast with maple walnut pecans. I didn't need it. No way I could have eaten it. Nothing was the same after that morning. So, Mr. Iscariot, you know, I tried a lot of things to make it better. The only thing that did was more beer and women. Do you know who W.H. Auden was, Mr. Iscariot? W.H. Auden was a poet who once said, God may reduce you on judgment day to tears of shame, reciting by heart the poems you would have written had your life been good. She was my poem, Mr. Iscariot. Her and the kids, but mostly her. You cashed in silver, Mr. Iscariot, but me, I threw away gold. That's a fact. That's a natural fact.
A long beat. Jesus sighs, takes off his shirt, plunges it in the bucket, rinses, and begins to wash Judas's feet. Jesus washed meticulously and with care. He washes and washes. Perhaps the water is mixed with tears as lights fade. End of play.
Hooray.
Bravo, bravo.